Welcome back to Beacon, our alien actual play. I assume we're live. Jake has been muting himself all night, so we're just going to pretend he's still there and sending us up to the channel at the moment. But it's good to see everybody. Welcome back to our next episode of our alien actual play here with the Stream Punks, made possible by viewers like you. Ding, ding, ding. Like, let's just pretend we have the budget to throw this really cute graphic up on screen and everyone feels good about themselves. And now that we've established the mood, let's go ahead and get into some quick announcements tonight before we jump back into our session here of our alien actual play. The only announcement that I have to give out to everybody else is to stay tuned to Streampunk socials this month, because we're going to finally start teasing some stuff that's coming up for our Star Trek actual play. So if you are not a subscriber for the Streampunks, if you are not supporting us on Coffee or Patreon and you want to get that before everybody else gets it, now's a good time to pop over and support the Streampunks if you're interested in getting kind of the head start on some of the stuff that we're going to be showing off about our upcoming Clear Skies Campaign 3, the currently unrevealed titled Clear Skies Campaign 3. So that's the only announcement I had for tonight, sort of a weak pitch, but it's also going to be good stuff. It's just weak because I'm not a very good car salesman. I did sell insurance, though, for about 1 week, and then realized that half of my soul had died in those 48 hours. And so I left. Right. Anybody have any other announcements tonight that we can get into? Yes, Eliza.
Mine is very frivolous and silly.
Excellent.
I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but my current dopamine need this week is special / strange / atypical sticky notes. So if you know of any, I know it's ridiculous I'm making this announcement, but I'm just letting myself do whatever I want these days, which is nice,
well,
sort of.
You should.
Thank you. So if you happen upon some strangely textured Post-its or some artisan stationery person who makes the weirdest little shaped Post-its, please tweet them to me or send them to me. I also made an Etsy collection that I think people can add to, and a Pinterest. I'm so serious, y'all. The dopamine need is high. So I'm unabashedly asking crowdsourcing, help me get some Post-its to help me keep this adulthood going.
I just don't know why I never thought of this. I feel bad. I'm like, why didn't I ask the community about this stuff before? We have so many neurospicy people in our community, and I never thought of it.
In my neurospiciness, I am learning. Yeah. Newly diagnosed, y'all. I'm not ready to talk about it yet online, but newly diagnosed, I am learning. I need to build my life to be what it needs to be. So
the spice doth flow.
Yeah. Letting the neurospice flow. Okay. That's my announcement.
Excellent. All right. Does anybody else have any other announcements tonight? Yes, Noir.
Yes, I do. So if you are going to be at Gen Con, cool. Me too. And I'll be hosting a panel on safety tools. Really big into safety tools being used at the table. We'll be discussing all manners of safety tools, including XNO, the deck of safety tools, which is one of my deck of player safety, which is one of my favorite things, and so much more. We've got an extensive guest list of folks that'll be joining us, but that will come later. And of course, we are also doing morning Ritual live. Unfortunately, my co-host is in Canada, so he will not be able to join us, but we have a special guest host that will be carrying the reins, at least for this live show. So keep an eye out for that. Also, I just want to bring back up the fact that we recently did a 48-hour BIPOC Star Wars stream for May the 4th. So go to Telltale Hearts and check those stories out. They were really good, using all manners of systems, all to tell stories in the Star Wars universe. There was the Fantasy Flight system, the 5E system, and 10 candles to tell a Star Wars story. So check that out.
Yeah, Rogue One's a 10-candle Star Wars.
Yeah. My buddy Glyza, who is a fantastic GM, he did it, and it was just, it was so good.
Wait, tell us where to find that again and what platforms?
I will put the link in chat because I probably should have had that queued up.
I was like, let me go find this right now.
Oh, don't worry. It was like I put it there the whole time. Here is the Twitter. Ah, God, I didn't mute the Twitch. Now I hear myself.
You'll have to pass it to Jake probably.
Yeah.
We can't put links. Yeah, you'll have to pass it to Jake.
All right,
Jake
well,
will get it in at some point during the stream for you.
Okay. All right. Is that your announcement then, Noir? You all finished up?
that's it.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I don't cut you off. Does
you're
anybody
good.
else have anything they'd like to throw out there tonight? Yes, Caitlin.
I've said it the past couple of weeks, but I got to guest in a special bonus prequel arc for Pest Control here on Althaven, their Monster of the Week original setting podcast that they've got going on. It was very, very fun, and part 3 went up today, so you can check that out. Where I believe most podcasts can be found. It was such a blast, and y'all should check it out and check out the rest of their show because they do very fun, sweet work. And then I'll give a frivolous update too. I got my first pair of climbing shoes this week, so I'm very excited about that.
Excellent.
Is the
All
fan
right.
base for that podcast the Pescatarians?
Oh my God. I've
should-
just strained another year of your life away.
If it wasn't before, it is now.
Yeah.
Well, so because Turnabout is fair play, we watched the Predator 1 and 2 watch along this past weekend, along with many of the people you see here who gathered to watch my suffering. Sorry, Predator 1 and 2. And if you are a part of the Streampunks coffee membership, the VOD will be coming to you if you want to just watch along with our track and my holding a little puppy targ and thanking everyone for donating to Médecins Sans Frontières while cursing the existence of composer Alan
Yes.
Silvestri.
Yes. It's honestly, I would do that 10,000 more times. I just got to say fun facts about the Predator for 3 hours. It was
I
great.
would not ever do it again in my entire life, except for a large amount of doing good, which the Ox crew are tragically super effective at.
Indeed.
But
There's still
I
praise. Group, just to throw it out there. There's praise. We still have that.
you put that back. You pick it up
Just
off the ground. You
just-
stop
I'm-
throwing it. You put it
I'm-
back.
I'm putting. It's right on the table.
Yeah.
It's I didn't.
No, it's
it's for
back.
anybody to see.
It's
I'm just.
back.
I'm just. It's there. It's I didn't. Do
All right, I'm
anything.
going to talk about science now. What if a D12 were an animal and could help our agriculture? Find out on the latest episode of May Contain Science live on my YouTube right now. YouTube.com/@Delevely, DELEVELY. It's a thing. That's what I've got. It's cute, wholesome science involving maybe an animal that is also a D12. And so much more wholesome than the science which we are about to receive.
Or like agriculture, because D12s are for barbarians.
Eric will be dead by the end of the stream.
Yes,
Just-
this is
And
my
for
last
this-
game.
We are excited.
Let's go ahead and begin tonight's episode of Beacon. Welcome back. We're going to pick up where we left off. Last episode, we got some hugs. Our scene for this episode, this chapter of Beacon, opens with Martha being led into the infirmary and sit down in a chair. Martha, you are still trying to regulate your breathing. It feels like your lungs are just not getting enough air, but every breath you take, it gets a little easier as you're just breathing in, trying to get the planet's atmosphere out of your lungs as you're the burning in the back of your throats and the the ringing in your ears, but also the bruising, the very slight bruising that is starting to slowly take form around your neck, even through the EV suit, the strength of the creature that whipped its tail around you to hold you in place was terrifying. Doc, you have Martha in front of you. Everyone at this point has been brought up to speed over what just happened. And Isaac, unless you have anything you would like to do, I'm assuming you discard the burnt, crispy body of this creature and returned to the Ilios. Or are you going back on board the other vessel? What is your plan right now?
I'm pending orders from Dr. Captain,
Okay.
because if I'm truly treating the suit as disposable, if I need to go back in, I should probably do that before it is disposed of.
Keep in mind, your suit was also compromised in the last game. So while you're not suffering any of the negative effects of the atmosphere, the facehugger did cause a breach in your suit. So it would be kind of working against you if you were planning on using that and you decide to go back into the ship. Essentially,
Can I
you'll
patch
need
it?
what's that? You could probably patch it, yeah.
Okay.
I think that actually counts as a heavy machinery check. And I think it would also go far as to say that it would probably be easy to just step onto the cargo bay of the Ilios and say you pull out some patch gel that's easy enough to seal up a suit, at least as a temporary measure, and then put a
I think your Captain Dr. Captain is focusing on some other things at the moment, so I can just patch the suit and then we can figure out what to do with me later.
Make me a heavy machinery check. Yeah. Give yourself +1 die because you do have both tape and a sealant gel that is used for these EV suits.
I love seals.
Me too. Sea doggos are great.
Right? 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
Not only do you patch it up, but you make it look nice and pretty. No air bubbles in the tape. Well done. Smooth it out. That'll hold.
I'll do that nice and quickly off the stunt, and I'll probably do a +1 forward.
And which would
why not?
In which case, yeah, I would say not only do you manage to seal it up, but thankfully the extent of the damage is actually pretty localized. So 1 strip of tape takes care of the entire issue after you seal it. So it all takes maybe 2 minutes. Zip.
So I'm doing that while Martha.
Okay. All right. Back in the infirmary. Martha, you are finally starting to catch your breath, but you guys have the scene right now. Doc, you have been made aware that she was attacked by one of those creatures. There are more of those containers still in the captain's cabin. You brought one out and set it down and popped it open. So it's up to you what you wish to do with those. But Martha, right now, you in the infirmary, catching your breath, Doc in front of you, checking your vitals.
Yeah, I'm giving Martha full attention, just doing a once over. Is there a medicine check or anything that I can make to, 1, make sure Martha is okay, and 2, make sure Martha is not affected?
Mostly the only thing you would need to do right now that actually might be beneficial is helping Martha lower her stress rating. That much is possible considering what she just went through. You could probably kind of talk her down a little bit because just like you, she has been racking up an impressive amount of stress lately. But without making a medicine check, I can tell you that it doesn't look, it looks like the only physical trauma she went through, aside from the near strangulation of this creature's tail around her neck, looks like it was the exposure to the planet's atmosphere. Her skin looks like it's going to require a little bit of treatment. You can see there's already some red blotching taking place, flaking a little bit. It's probably going to basically, Martha, it's going to feel like you've got a really bad sunburn. What it really is, though, is just the moisture on your face, the atmosphere itself, damaging and some places killing skin cells pretty rapidly. Never mind the temperature differential. All in all, it's totally fixable. Nothing a little ointment and some rest can't fix. But you look like you've been through it, Martha.
And I have 1 radiation level. Is that goes away after rest?
So after the way radiation works, and if you ever want to reference this, just so you know, that's under hazards if you're on demiplane. It is definitely counting as a hazard. So the way it works is this. When you are exposed to radiation, you gain radiation points or rads, and they accumulate in your body. You check off a rad box on your character sheet. Every time you gain a radiation point, you must roll a number of dice equal to your current number of accumulated rads. So right now, we can go ahead and do this roll.
Okay.
And for every success you roll, you take a single point of damage. So you've got 1 rad. So just roll that d6.
All right.
And if you roll a 6,
no success.
okay, so then you don't have to worry about taking any damage, which is great, which is one less thing the doc has to worry about.
'Kay.
Now, you are immediately, after you leave the irradiated area, you heal 1 rad per shift. So you still technically have it right now.
Okay.
However, every time you're about to heal a rad, so at the end of the shift, you're going to roll 1 stress die. If you roll a face hugger, the rad is permanent.
Got it. Okay.
So, right now, you're not really feeling the effects. 1 rad isn't really enough to feel it, really.
Mhm.
At least not yet. But, yeah.
So yeah, Martha's just sitting there, trying to catch her breath, and seems pretty how do I describe this? Not out of it, surprisingly. Definitely trying to catch her breath. You see Doc, like a different version of Martha. You've never seen her in this, like, literally just straight up survived mode. Not even just survival, but survived. And so she's kind of like tunneling in on just like her breath and not really noticing you or noticing anything else in the room right now.
She's got marine mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that adrenaline is still running. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to use my calming presence, which just lets Martha calming presence. Let me pull it up. People find themselves relaxing whenever you're around. Once per turn, you may reduce the stress level of another character within short range by 1, in addition to the normal stress recovery.
Okay.
So as you're naturally reducing your stress, you can reduce an additional 1, because Doc is kind of like snapping at you, like, hey, "You with me, Martha? Come on."
Yeah, Doc. Hi. Yeah, I'm here.
You went full marine on me, guy. It was kind of scary. It was a little intense.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know. That was intense. Ow.
Yeah. I would not recommend doing what you did, but I hear you had good reason, and I'm just glad you're okay.
You mean? I thought you meant touching my face. You mean like getting attacked by a scorpion-like alien bug?
Well, that I don't recommend doing any of what you did.
Got it.
But I'm
Yeah. Okay.
Officially, everything you just did against doctor's orders. Don't do it again.
Got it. And she like sits on her hands.
Okay.
All right. He's just gonna keep just doing.
Okay. Real quick, just so we can check in, what's Tig up to right now?
Tig is kind of, I think, probably lurking in med bay. Very much a past patient off to doctor, and now is just loitering. Sounds casual. I think she seems a little bit wired, more than she usually is. Where you saw Martha's extra calm, I think you're seeing Tig just a little bit more like, oh God, like we've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
And so she like maybe would have normally gone off, and I think she's just like hanging out in the med bay in case Doc needs an extra set of hands, but otherwise is just hanging out and listening.
Watching to see if Martha's doing all right. Up on the flight deck, though he wants to rush down to med bay to make sure everyone's all right. Up on the flight deck, leaning over his console and look with his forehead practically pressed against the cockpit window, looking out of the port. Connor is currently watching as the small figure of Isaac marches back up the ramp into the ship. And Isaac, you hear on comms coming through your helmet, Connor say, "I'm still with you here, Isaac. So if you see any more of those little buggers, just let me know. And I'm sure Martha will want to get You know, some revenge or something. Get over there with a
Yeah,
pulse
you don't know
rifle.
this about her, but she really likes grenades.
Okay, I probably won't tell Martha then. At least not until we've decided we want to scrap the ship.
Possibly for the best. I imagine she has a lot to deal with at the moment. So probably best to give her an opportunity to catch her breath.
Sure.
Is Doc still busy? Cause these things are still out here, and if anyone's gonna clear the rest of the ship, it's probably gonna be me. But you know what's going on down there?
One sec. A couple of button presses. You can hear just barely through the sound dampening in the mic. And a few moments later, you are patched through directly into the infirmary. And you all hear Connor's voice come up on the comms, just going, "All right, everyone, Isaac's got a few things they want to ask. And all right, Isaac, I patched you through to the infirmary. You're on internal comms."
Hi, this is Isaac.
Hey, Isaac. You good out there?
Oh, I'm just fine. The creature that wronged Martha will not be doing that anymore.
Good.
Good to know.
How
How about you? You all right?
Oh, of course.
Good.
There are other crates. I don't know if they contain those.
Oh. All right. Are they on the ship that we attempted to send into the sun?
I only moved one crate, yes, sir?
Mhm.
They are at the moment. Yes.
I personally don't see any reason why they shouldn't move. Then, if I think that their destination is appropriate.
Martha's just sitting there nodding.
All right. Should I still go back and get any other information and things? We sent me over there to go to the flight deck and some other stuff, and I didn't even really get to leave the captain's quarters. There was too much excitement. Sorry, Martha.
Oh yeah, no. Also, thank you for saving my life. If I didn't say that in the moment, which I don't think I did.
Happy for the opportunity to return the favor.
Awesome.
Yes, you
are. Yeah, if you can get over to the flight deck and grab that info for me. I forget exactly what the info was. What was it? It was like
a lot of the info Isaac pulled right off of the captain's computer. A lot of
Hmm.
big reveals.
Yeah.
Some of the data that Isaac was able to grab, some confirmation as well as to what Z, by the way, the name of the captain, what she had been up to, and what led to would appear to be the contamination. All of this, of course, is pointing back to the system in which they were coming from. You also discovered, of course, that this particular vial holds what is called the 25 Draconis strain, I believe, is the official name.
26, I have in
26. I think that's correct. That sounds right. Yes, 26 Draconis strain, which is a modified variant that they were using. The data seems to suggest that what they were doing was a strain exists apparently that is able to arrest the full transformation of somebody into what has been referred to as the abomination, or the final stages where this black glue genetically alters somebody past the point of even human recognition, where their entire physiology is warped and literally changed at the genetic level into something completely new and horrific and violent and powerful. You guys saw a little bit of that in Z, clearly. This strain has some pretty astounding properties that it can actually stop the full transformation, but it's clear what its purpose was. You all know that Darkstar, like some of the other now defunct Black Project operations that were taking place during the Frontier War, it itself was in the process of trying to use this genetic material in order to breed super soldiers. That's pretty much a given at this point. The thing that makes this strain also very unique is apparently it has the capacity somehow to physically warp and alter synthetic life as well, using what he it's difficult to understand how that is even possible. But when discussing the fact that what you all know about this black goo is that it is highly sought after, to underscore, highly sought after by Weyland-Yutani and pretty much any other government that can get their hands on it. And that it is not clear who created it. But one thing does seem obvious based off of, just as a refresher of the scientific findings you have all found, that the complexity, the manipulation of this liquid that is the ability to create a metamorphosis on a scale unseen before seems to be well beyond human capacity at this particular moment. It doesn't seem likely that even an advanced human technological, like bioengineering lab could possibly create something like this. To this day, in this universe as it stands right now, genetic engineering and playing around with bioengineering is something that absolutely happens, can happen. It has been messed with many a time before. It is debatable, although it has been said that technically the Blade Runner universe is a part of the Alien universe. So we already know that biogenetics and then synthetics has already kind of taken place. Although those two universes don't really, you have to kind of jam those puzzle pieces together to get them to fit. But essentially, what we know is that at this stage, it is possible for humans to manipulate genetically the way we see done in like super soldier styles kind of laboratories. However, it takes place over many, many years. Usually it takes place at the moment a new life form is created, or it takes place over injections and manipulation throughout the young part of its life, or nothing humans have created can force a transformation on this scale at this speed with this ferocity, this aggressiveness. And to be able to alter synthetic life jumps beyond the pale of being understandable.
In terms of information we might yet have pending on the ship, I'm specifically interested in their general flight log. We know some of the locations they went to in search of the stuff. I eventually would like a map of all of these locations and Paxton's Reach, particularly to look for if there's any sort of radial point by which we could identify where this particular strain of black goo might have been, might have gone, other plausible locations. Just get our map going. So if I don't have all of the flight information required to get that now, that is a thing that Isaac would be inclined to go back for. Also, naturally, if there's anything else the GM knows about that the Sam doesn't, that they might want. But
okay,
yeah,
so
that
then,
one came to mind.
For trying to comb through the computer for any other relevant data that seems like a lead, I would say make a comm tech check.
Wasn't there a thing where Martha could remote in? Wasn't
Yes.
that what I was kind of setting up?
Martha can remote in through Mother. Yes.
Okay, so I would like to go back to the ship for that.
Okay, so Martha is in condition. If you want to head up to the flight deck, you can absolutely operate and connect with their ship.
Okay.
You can. Isaac can absolutely set you up there.
Doc, how am I looking to get back to work?
Any other person, I tell them to sit still for at least 6 hours and call me in the morning. But you're a Marine, so you're gonna do what you want anyway. Don't move too fast. Drink lots of water and take care of yourself.
Okay, thank you, Captain Dr. Captain.
Hoorah!
Hoorah is right. Okay, so Martha will head up to the flight deck.
Okay.
And get on that ship remotely. Ship's computer.
Okay, you slide into Isaac's chair on the flight deck, and Mother's screen pops up immediately. You see lines of code. It says, "Hello, Martha," on the screen, and then loads up the menu. Leaning over, you begin tapping away on those big, thick retro keys, entering a bunch of commands that immediately links you up to the mother system on the next ship over. Isaac, on the flight deck of the neighboring ship on the Corvus, you see the screen flicker for a moment. It establishes a connection, links up, and you see Mother immediately opens up a command menu that you can see the lines that Martha is typing on the screen in front of you, basically. So, Martha, now that you've got that linked up, go ahead and make me a CommTech check for Isaac.
Okay. Oh, just a quick question about the stress. How long has it been?
You were still swimming in stress because
Yeah,
it hasn't even we
okay.
haven't even gotten through this shift yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was 5 when I got to the med bay.
Then Doc helped you out
with 1, and then I touched my personal item, which
you
I
interacted
hold
with your personal
here.
item.
Yeah.
Right
So I took off 2, so I'm still at 3.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
All righty then. So okay. Wits CommTech.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling. Ooh. Okay. What? Sorry, I still don't. Okay. Starting to understand the demiplane roller system. I have 1 success and 1 face hugger.
Excellent.
How
Man.
apropos.
It wouldn't be a game with Eliza unless you were rolling on the panic table. So go ahead and add your stress to it.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And do I roll 4 now because I took an extra
You
one?
roll
Yes.
1d6 and
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right.
No, but
your
at
number
least
of stress.
But I
Elisa's
add
asking you.
1.
Elisa's asking if
Okay.
she gains an additional stress
Yes,
for
you
having
do.
failed that check.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
But I only roll 1 for the pen.
You only
Thank
roll
You
one.
only rolled 1d6, yeah.
Okay.
And then add that 4 to it, and then you'll -2 because you've got nerves of steel.
3 minus 1. Sorry, minus 2 is 1. So
you rolled 1 plus your wait.
Sorry,
What'd you roll?
It says it gave me a 3, but
Okay.
then as the results it says 0. For some
Okay.
reason. But
Okay.
nerves of steel is -2. I don't know. It says 0.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, either way you're fine.
Okay.
So yeah, you managed to. It's just in the back of your head, Martha. You ignore it. You keep typing away at the computer. The information that comes up on screen is the flight path for this ship for the past 5.5 months. You see, with regards to the job they've got correlating to the dates in which they first started receiving transmissions from Takamura, you see they stopped at 3 different places that coincide with leads that Takamura sent them. However, each place Nakamura. Each place Nakamura sent them was with a lead turned out to be a dead end. It was either an abandoned colony. There was nothing there. All they did was swipe food and whatnot. One of the places was just a total crater that had been blasted from orbit. The last place they went to, which is being referenced as Delphini 46-2, is where they had contact with something of value for Nakamura and brought it back. Everything else looks like it was bust. They didn't report anything. Beyond that flight plan, it looks like you just see their charts kind of bouncing around. And a lot of the logs that they have look like standard pirate fare. Doesn't look like they had any kind of space encounters. It looks like a lot of the shit that they did, frankly, looks like they raided a couple of colonies. But they did it in a big space of time as to not attract the colonial marines. what you start to note in some of the logs is the Colonial Marines have been patrolling the frontier a little more often ever since the implementation of the Colonial Protection Act. There's a little bit more of a presence out here. So they've been kind of measuring how often they stage raids. But from what you can tell from the flight path, that nothing remarkable stands out about any of their other journeys. You don't see any giveaways. After about 20 minutes of skinning through like all these lines of the sort of sporadic and poorly kept captain's logs and their flight path, it looks erratic. It looks like they were chasing work. They did a couple of shipping jobs, apparently, though judging from the sounds of it in the log, they weren't necessarily legal, probably smuggling of some kind. Nothing else really jumps out.
Okay, I'm imagining that as I'm accessing this, Isaac, we're kind of seeing the same screen. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just looks to me like you're puppeting the computer.
It's
and I'm
like
just watching.
it's like when you get tech support and
Pretty much.
they're like, "Can you
I
share
was
your
thinking like a player piano, but that's a much closer analogy.
Yeah.
So Martha says, "All right, Isaac, you seeing this too, right? Delphini seems
Yeah.
like
That seems like the only one that had much of anything," and looks back down the hall toward the captain's quarters with the crates. They had plenty of anything,
Mhm.
at least at the time.
Guess we're going to be paying that planet a visit.
I mean, aren't we supposed to be going on this mother mission?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, and then where Martha's also saying this sort of, I'm going to look for where's Delphini is, or like how far is that from where we are versus where we're going to? Is it in a different direction of where we're going later?
It's about, I would say it's about 3 parsecs from, I would say in the galactic east, it's about 3 parsecs away from where you are right now. Roughly 36 days of travel with the FTL rating of the Ilios.
And so the mission that we're supposed to go on, where's the first stop for that?
The first place you're supposed to go to?
Mm-hmm.
The first place you're supposed to go to from here is back to Beacon.
Oh, right. Okay.
You've picked up the guy.
Yeah.
You've managed. It is worth noting that even though this whole encounter has been taking some in-game time, this is only like day 3 since you have all arrived here.
Was the expectation of our original schedule that we were going to just pick up, U-turn, and bounce out, though? Because then we would be behind. Where are we relative to how long we were scheduled?
Yes, but nobody schedules turnarounds that tight in space travel, realistically. So you always have a little bit of leeway once you make the pickup. So right now, you're still just within the window of time of having your guy and taking him back to Beacon. If you all decide to do that, you're technically still on schedule right now. But that window, now that it is being brought up, I can tell you is closing.
We have to get the guy back, and then I guess we're supposed to leave with them.
Yep, true. Well, I'll bring this up to Dr. Captain, and maybe we can plan a pit stop at some point in our schedule, or just pass by it and nuke it, because really that's all we need to do, right? Just make sure no more of this goo or those scorpion things get out.
What if it has more info on other places that have the goo?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
We didn't expect it to Paxton's Reach either.
Can I interject a little bit here? Connor leans over in his chair and glances at you, Martha, and says, "We need to examine just exactly who we are. Do you know what I mean?"
Wait, no, I actually don't. What do you mean?
Look, we're not some intergalactic band of secret agents for the United Nations trying to stop biological warfare on the frontier. We are literally aid workers trying to deliver medical supplies to colonies in need. I'm fine sticking to that. I say we hand this off to somebody else.
Like who?
I don't know. Why not the United Nations? Why not? I mean, we work for them, right? Just hand it off to them. Tell them we've discovered whatever it is we've discovered and let them deal with it. We can't chase these, former... We're talking about black op organizations from one of the most cruel, calculating people ever to exist in government from a war. Like, I'm just saying, we're way out of our pay grade here. I know that may not be true for you, Martha, because you're a Marine. You're still active duty. You're working in intelligence. I get all that. And I know this crew wants to help, but we need to examine who we are. We're Beacon. We deliver vaccines and food. Or are we really talking about going into this base, looking and trying to hunt down traces of a biological weapon that could literally end all of humankind?
Yeah.
Getting rid of a bioweapon seems like a really effective way to prevent people from meeting harm, right? Preemptive aid.
Look, I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up for this. I was told that I was going to be bussing people around while we did some good on the frontier. I'm not ready to go to war against black op organizations from the UPP or anyone else. And I certainly don't want to see any more of those fucking things that came out of a box attacking any more crew members.
Well, hard same on that. I want to do like an empathy roll, but before I do that, what do I notice about his demeanor and his what am I?
Connor?
Yeah.
That would
what
be
am
an
I picking?
observation check.
Okay. All right. All right, I'll do.
If you're trying to get a read on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, wits observation with a lot of stress. Ooh, 2 successes.
2 successes.
Mm-hmm.
He's very nervous.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You get the impression that he is feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He definitely comes off to you like somebody who is feeling a little bit like the water level is at about his chin right now.
Okay. I hear you, Connor, and you're right. You bring up good points, and you're right. I just want you. This is hard to ask because we're new to each other, and you're new to this team. But I want you to just trust me that bringing this to someone else is not. It's probably not the best move right this moment. Let's keep considering and thinking about it, but I don't see any parties in this galaxy that we can trust with this. This should not exist, basically. And I think that should be our priority, to make it not exist.
Well, I mean, what about your superiors?
No, not them.
His face drops a little bit and says, but
no, I'm not bringing a possible bioweapon to any military organization. Any.
Aren't you going to get in trouble for that?
Yeah. If anyone finds out. I want to make a roll here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want him to. I want him to trust me and us enough to not go blabbing to anyone else. I'm a little worried about him blabbing.
Okay.
Anti-snitch roll.
Yeah.
Well, that if you're trying to ensure that he doesn't say anything, this would be a give order check. Like you would basically be making a manipulation check here.
Yeah.
Or in this case, you could use command. You could argue that command would be something you would roll, but this would definitely be an empathy roll of some kind.
Yeah, I'll I would like to do command here. And so yeah, I was trying to be gentle a moment ago,
Okay.
but it's yeah, you need to trust us and give us the benefit of the doubt that we know what we're doing and we know the players and we know that none of them should have this,
Well, before you
including
make this roll, let me see if I understand you, because it sounds like you're trying to persuade. It doesn't sound like you're commanding him. It sounds like you're trying to make a persuasion check. In which case, that would be
I don't think
manipulation.
I can command him, can I? Because he's not like in my chain of command to command.
I mean,
So
technically, that is true. Yes.
like Dr. Captain would have to
Captain
command
could probably try to make a command check here, but
him. So
I was just about to
technically-
ask. Are we still patched into the infirmary? Like, am
Yeah.
I hearing this?
yeah.
if we want to
We don't have solo channels or anything.
No,
So
No,
everybody hears
everybody's
everything.
talking to everybody else right now. It's worth noting that I think an argument can be made, because you're a Marine. I think an argument can be made where you could kind of trick him
Got
into
it.
taking a command if you wanted
Okay.
to roll it. But yeah, if you're trying to persuade him, if you're trying to get him to see reason, that's a persuasion check. If you're giving him an order and telling him to shut the fuck up, that's a command check.
Okay. I'm like, how does Martha
So it's
like not? I don't want it to come off as intimidation. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how I see that would play out.
yeah, I mean, it really depends on how you decide. It depends on what you're trying to achieve and how you deliver it. Because you
Yeah.
could give him an order and make it, if you worded it like you're not going to tell anybody because you do, people will die, then that's different than if you tell somebody, you're going to have me to answer to. That's, you see the difference between the two?
Yeah, or leaving it blank. I feel like leaving it blank is like a threat, just an open-ended threat.
Yeah,
But I hear what you're saying.
when you don't say something and you
Yeah,
leave them to figure it
exactly.
out, yeah, that would be
Exactly.
taken as a threat for sure.
So
So it's however you want to approach it.
Yeah. So then, yes, I will emphasize more of that side of like, no, we can't trust my superiors. Literally, people will die if this gets out. We just need to dispose of it as quickly as possible. And if we can find other things, then we should be finding them and disposing of them too. So if you tell anybody, people will die.
Okay, so go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. All right. Empathy command. Yeah.
Again, it sounds. How are you using command?
Yeah.
The
I'd
intention?
like this to be.
Okay, so
You
then
cannot tell
let
anyone.
me make this clear,
Uh-huh.
because the way you're phrasing it right now is, listen, you can't tell anybody. That's persuasion.
No. I
Command
wanna be
is
more-
you are not going to say a word. Do you understand me? You're not going to say anything, and I'm telling you that as somebody who is from the USMC. You are not saying a word of this to anybody.
If you still
That's
want to go on,
command.
like I can see what Martha's like trying to get is the trust
Mhm.
element too. So it could be like I need you, like you need to trust me, and you need to keep this between us. Like you
That's
could go
persuasion.
from like that.
No, I can see how it's persuasion. Yeah. Like
That's
I see what you're
persuasion.
saying, Caitlin.
Command
too, but
is giving you an order.
yeah, I hear
You
you.
You
will
are not
not,
going
like-
to do this.
You are
That's-
not. Yeah. Okay.
The difference between command language
I
and
see, yeah.
persuasion is one
Like
is
you are-
no,
yeah.
and the other one is here's why no.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you're
And
inviting
persuasion
him-
is
yeah.
You're going to trust us, and you're going to keep this.
persuasion
Yes.
is manipulation in this.
Yes, that's the difference between the two.
Here's the thing. I just feel like it's more true to my character not to. I feel like this would be kind of like bullying him into, and he's not in my chain of command, so it's like it doesn't hold weight
Yeah.
for me.
That makes
So
sense.
I
Yeah.
would like to instead do manipulation. But this is not a skill I have anything in. It's something I've been wanting to get something in.
Okay.
So
Can I pitch something?
yes, please.
Okay. I was gonna say the only reason that I did have God, Doc, Jeff, you guys
No,
got me
you're
saying
right,
Doc
you're
Cap. It's because I wasn't sure if he would be able to speak to him. Doc can start with the persuasion, and if you want to put the cap on it with the and don't tell anybody, and making it kind of short and sweet without it being bullying, but still kind of like the authority to what your captain said. I think that might play a little bit better with Martha, but that's I'm just trying to like throw a lifeline out here. So
I would
you don't
say-
feel like you're bullying.
I would basically say that would just be an assisted role.
Yeah, and
So
I'm
you
cool
gain a
with
plus one
that.
die. Yeah.
I
So
don't-
whoever wants
I
to
just
take the point on that.
I just still don't want Martha to be trying to give someone a command.
You could
who's
just
not.
smile at him sweetly and slowly keep eye contact with him as you gently load a grenade into your gun over and over.
right.
Everything's going to be fine, Connor.
All right. So we'll have you do the assist. That way you can shape this how it feels right for your character. I'll take the brunt of the role, and then we all get what we want. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, if you don't want that, please say no.
I wouldn't mind trying, if I can try manipulation so that I can start gaining,
Gotcha.
adding skill in that area.
Would you
if
like to
that's-
add an ox point?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This comes from our newest Ox member, Crafty Geek.
Hey, Crafty Geek!
Hey, Crafty Geek!
So you gain an auto success on this from Crafty Geek.
Amaze.
Your Ox point is up.
And I'm just looking real quick. I've read these skill rules so many times, but I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. When you do a new skill, there's like a little procedure you have to do.
When you're gaining a new skill, there's a procedure for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're spending XP to gain a new skill, there is a
Right.
procedure to gain
But
a
I
new
can
skill.
I can just roll in something I don't have and then later spend XP to
Yeah, I mean it's just
gain the skill,
it's just
right?
a flat
If I
attribute
succeed.
roll at this point. If you don't
Right,
have
okay.
that skill, it's just a flat attribute roll. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
That's just how I
Cool.
make contact checks, friend.
Yeah, you just like
Yeah, I just
Uh,
am bad and unskilled. It's totally allowed.
I
You can
think
be bad at
the
things, chat. It's
the
okay.
thing I'm trying to remember is like when you roll in a new skill that you don't have, you have zero in, you can then gain skill, but only if you succeed in that roll. I think that's what my brain is trying to remember from the rule skill set. Please correct
in
me
the
if I'm wrong.
advancement rules, if you want to pick up some manipulation.
Wait, say it again.
I think that's relating to the advancement rules if you want to get your
Right.
first rank of manipulation.
And-
That's what
and
I'm talking about. Yeah,
we
that's
can-
what I want
Yeah,
to
I
do.
would say
yeah,
that wouldn't happen right now anyway. It would be at the
Exactly.
end of the day. But so
But
go
that's
ahead
what I'm
and yeah.
that's what I've been wanting to do. So
Mhm.
yes, I want to use this as
Sure.
that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Rolling more stress than command. But let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, I gotta screenshot it. Okay. In addition to the auto success, I have 3 more rolled successes.
Okay. And did you roll your stress dice with that?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
2 of the successes were on the stress, so that's
Stress.
fun.
Okay, so you press upon him the importance of not saying anything. And he listens to you for a moment and says, well, no, I wasn't good at, I don't want to say anything. No, I'm not going to tell anyone anything. My whole thing is that I'm scared if somebody finds out about this. I don't want anyone knowing what we're doing. My thing is that I want to make sure that it stays that way. I promise you, Martha, I'm not going to say anything. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is we're not some kind of elite, what is it? Like biological containment unit. We don't deal with hazards like this. We're not trained for it. We're doctors and pilots and really light-hearted synthetics that are great at lifting things and patching stuff up and bitter, morbidly humid ex-Marines who also like to patch people up. And do you know what I mean? We're not trained for this. Now, I'm not trained for this. I signed up at Beacon because I wanted to carry people like you around so that you could give foodstuffs to colonists who need it or help them build new houses and such. I'm just not ready to go into Black Ops territory and dispose of dangerous chemical weapons that could end humanity. And I think we're out of our league here, personally. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. We definitely are, but oh wait, what? Yeah.
If I may, you make a good point there. And I absolutely understand that this is a little bit outside of what you expected. And
it's not a little bit, Doctor. Don't minimalize this. We're way beyond the edges of the map right now, and that's my problem.
Well, that's one way to look at it, and I respect
one way. Sure. Okay.
You
it's just my point of view then.
No, I respect that, but let me ask you this. You're old and wise enough to know that history books are filled with The lost souls are people that were waiting for trained individuals to do the right thing. The people that you want to turn this to are the ones that unleash this on civilian populations. So we got a choice of either doing the right thing or doing the easy thing. Now, if you want to do the easy thing, I will not disparage you, and I will have you sent to Beacon, and we will find another pilot. But if we can't be responsible for this being unleashed on another soul, you say that we ain't nothing but doctors, pilots, charming synthetic, 2 Marines. Well, I think that is more than enough to do the right thing. I will not be one of those people that sees responsibility and shirks from it because it is terrifying. No progress has ever been made that way. Only death on a mass scale.
I get what you're saying. I do. I just think there's a little bit of vigilantism happening here, and there's more at stake than just possibly dying horribly. I also don't want to spend the rest of my life in jail when, Mother flies back into Beacon and we get asked why our flight plan took us to this, wherever it is, Delphini place that we're talking about possibly going to.
Hadn't thought of that.
Then one step at a time. Can we all agree that it is good and necessary that the crates filled whatever that organism is and the black goo, can we all agree that it is good and necessary that we see it destroyed?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
I don't like the framing. Is it good and necessary that it's destroyed? Yeah. Is it good and necessary we see it destroyed? That's where I'm having a problem.
Honestly, me too. I wish somebody else got here first with the goddamn conscience, but looks like we drew the intergalactic short straw. We do this one thing. This one good and necessary thing. If we can't stomach going any further, we go to Beacon, we get some noodles, and then we find if we can sleep at night. If we can, fine. You'll continue dropping age just like you expected. But if you have a hard time catching a wink, then we see what other good and necessary things need to be done. Can we all agree to that?
I can agree to think about it.
Can't ask for any more than that.
Then I'll work on getting this ship flight worthy, because we've all agreed this one's going into the sun. And it has to be able to take off to do that. And we have to take off to go anywhere. Delphini or Beacon or Adradfu or something.
That means I need to come over and help you set this thing up.
Yeah, it's a little vigilante, but you telling me you never wanted to be Batman growing up?
He stares at you, completely lost on the reference.
It's a Batman.
I'm not particularly fond of rodents, no.
Nobody appreciates the classics anymore.
Isaac, I'm going to suit up and I'll meet you over there in a moment.
Okay, see you over here. Be careful.
He swivels out of the chair and stands up, and pops his back and lets out this tortured sigh as he exits the flight deck, moving all the way to the very back of the room and stepping into the corridor. About 30 minutes or so later, Isaac, you hear the heavy footsteps of a man in an EV suit coming down the corridor. And sure enough, there's Connor stepping into the flight deck. He nods to you as he steps in and goes, "Man, these people did not know how to take care of their ship. It's a painful thing to see."
You know, I got to take a little bit of a look at the engine, and it was in shockingly better shape than the Ilios when we first got our hands back on her.
I'm
So-
gonna have a word or two with Beacon about that one.
Please let me know how that goes.
Oh, I can be rightly obnoxious when I need to be. He's gonna make a piloting check real quick as he's setting this up. Easy peasy. You see him start laying in a flight path. You see this three-dimensional map begin to appear on the mother screen. He starts making adjustments. You see him doing little things like checking weather patterns, checking the exits, basically the exit window for the atmosphere during like weather, trying to figure out what is a good time. Things you don't normally have to do anymore, but he's having to make adjustments in order to make sure that the ship stays linked and navigate. Also managing to see how far the Ilios needs to be and how far it can be in order to maintain a more dexterous control over the ship from remote. Accounting for
I'm
lag
watching
and whatnot.
like little Spider-Man,
Mhm.
watching Big Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're seeing that there's a bit of an art to this as he is currently laying out flight paths, also using Mother and the latest satellite systems here in the colony, which, by the way, are poorly out of date and looks like they haven't sent an update in a while, but trying to judge like sun surface activity. What are bursts of radiations looking like as you get closer to the sun? What are the things you're going to have to take account for? Essentially, celestial turbulence is kind of what he's mapping it out for. But it's easy enough as you just see him take about maybe 15 minutes and enters the program, and you see the mother system updating it and being accepted into the flight path. Then he immediately connects it to the mother system back on the Ilios. And when he's done, he enters a command. He basically creates 3 different command codes to execute acceleration, taking off, some of the key commands. When he's done, he hits enter, mother system, the program loads up, and you see confirmation that the ship is currently connected to the flight deck of the mother on the Ilios. He slaps the keyboard and says, "All right, it's whenever we want to go now. She's ready to go whenever we're ready. Looks like Isaac was right, by the way. Looks like the engines are in great shape. Plenty of fuel cells, plenty to get exactly where it needs to go. She's not going to have any trouble taking off. It'll be a little tricky. It always is when you're doing something remote, but since we're not exactly jumping into FTL,
And it doesn't have to be the most precise landing.
it is going to take about 3 weeks for it to reach the sun. But
I'll
aside
seal
from
it up tight so it can't do any harm in here.
easy.
Avoid those quarters there.
Oh,
on your
don't
way out,
worry.
by the way.
No, I'm going straight to the cargo bay, just like I came straight from the cargo bay. I plan on leaving.
Thank you.
Mhm. In fact, if we're good, I'll just head back now.
That's probably for the best.
Right.
Don't forget disinfectant procedures, all of them. You may just burn that suit. We don't know how to disinfect anything.
I'll just
right
burn
now.
the suit. I'm
Okay,
fine with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He
Thank you.
gets out of the seat and don't stay too long now. And he heads out. About 15 or so minutes later, he walks up onto the cargo bay, closes the cargo bay doors of the Ilios, pressurizes it, takes a deep breath, quickly takes off his helmet, puts on a face mask for breathing, immediately disinfects the entire surface of his suit, steps out of it, places goggles on, puts on what looks like a thermal jacket, opens after depressurizing the bay just a little bit, opens the crack of the cargo bay and promptly throws the suit out and seals it up. And once again, a few moments later, pulls the mask off and goes, "All right, I think I'm good." Headed up to the flight deck.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else we need from me over here? Otherwise, I'm going to do pre-flight checks and seal her up.
Is there any way that we might be able to get any kind of confirmation of the ship's destruction? This is more pointed at Martha, but we're all on call, so it doesn't matter.
Can you ask that? Sorry, can you say that again?
Is there any way that we can get confirmation of the ship's destruction?
Yes. Basically, we can have the ship pinging us and send out a death ping right before it ceases to exist. So we'll know that's the last of it.
Now, would this ping be able to be picked up by anybody else and tracked back to us?
I can encrypt it.
Martha, that is always a possibility.
Right. I could encrypt it though, right? To help.
You can encrypt it so nobody would
Less
know
than
the
that.
nature of the message, but you can't stop people from hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could just be a ping on
Yeah,
a
exactly.
frequency that we know as a
Yeah.
dead man switch, and when it stops pinging, it's because it can't send it to the system satellite anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we picked up the distress call off of their satellite eventually, kind of.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the ping specifically would be because it cannot be sent anymore, not just because it's been turned off or been compromised or anything like that. So, yes. So, yes, there's a chance someone would hear it, but it's just a
They
ping.
won't
It's
know what
not-
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the time they do, the ship's
Yeah.
in the sun. Hard to come back from that. I couldn't come back from that. Don't throw me in the sun. I should leave.
Isaac, sometimes I don't think you mean to, but you're very terrifying. All right, yeah, let's set it up.
You're not Isaac, by the way. You're
Yes,
perfectly
I am.
fine.
I'm Isaac. Did you not?
You're very scary. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
I heard it as Isaac did too. Yes, I am. I was like, yeah.
Well, especially because Connor was asking about knowing who we are, and I thought I did. And I'm gonna seal up the ship now. Please, come
All right.
on.
Every y'all
Can I
failed
just
attempt to gaslight the poor synthetic into thinking that they were somebody else.
Oh, no.
Oh.
You're not Isaac. What are you talking about? You're
I have
Maitland.
Isaac tattoos.
We stopped
For
Isaac, remember?
You're Maitland. Oh, God.
Oh my! Oh wow! Cool. There's whew. Eric, just for my own.
Mhm.
You're about just close shop for the night. You sort of like take that look around, then you turn out the lights.
Today's special. Yeah.
For my own, I don't know what that means. For my own edification, can I just like make an ops check off that as I do like final checks around, just to assure myself that there's nothing else I might be leaving that's gonna just be evidence I'll never be able to pick up later?
Sure. That would be an observation check.
Okay. Yep. I know I'm volunteering
Do you
for
wanna-
one. Try not to fall over.
Yeah, you are.
Do you want an ox point before we destroy the ship?
Sure.
If it's a Hail Mary roll, might as
Because
well.
then if I get any successes, then I can get unexpected information.
Okay. This comes from Kato, aka Kato.
May I find some science for you? May I find data?
Yeah.
I'm told it's required. I got one.
Okay. Well, you're not going to find data because we're not playing Star Trek. But after you look around, you give a quick once over to the cabin. You go back to the captain's quarters to just kind of retrace your steps. You look dubiously at the stack of environmentally contained crates that are still piled up in the captain's room. It does kind of boggle the mind to think that she was likely sleeping next to these crates, but it also makes you wonder if the creatures inside might have sensed what she was becoming, and maybe she wasn't as much danger as she would
Mommy.
if somebody else would be. You give a once over to the ship. I mean, you do find some munitions on board, and those are primarily for the large guns that you don't have equipped on the Ilios. But aside from that, there doesn't seem to be much else. You make sure to steer clear of the infirmary, I'm guessing, which still has a corpse in it that is heavily contaminated. But aside from that, you give it once over to the ship. It takes about half a shift, really. So probably bringing it into this first shift to really scope out the entire Corvus class and to make sure that you haven't missed anything.
No unexpected information available on the ship. We've cleared the ship of all interactables.
You've pretty much, yeah.
Love that.
Pretty
I feel
much
better now.
following the Trail of Cthulhu RPG style, telling the players so they don't start second, triple, quadruple guessing. You feel relatively certain that you have LA Noir to this, and you have indeed found all of the checkpoints at the crime scene. You don't have to linger any further.
No, they're in Chicago.
Nor's in Chicago.
Chicago, no.
Fuck.
We were all
See, Noir, if you move to LA, I'm going to start calling you LA
we're going to
Noir.
LA.
crying.
If that happens,
Everyone-
I am going to call you LA Noir.
Everyone waited for the narration to stop, and then everybody made the joke.
You
Yep.
could see us passing the brain cell from one to the next.
Yep. It was just slow connections there, but when you wander off the ship, the cargo bay closes behind you, making your way back onto the Ilios. By the time you guys all get saddled up back onto the Ilios, pretty confident that all that can be done at Jinx Colony has been done. Each of you realizes it's probably about that time to head out. The sun is starting to get low on the horizon again here on the planet side, and the ships are ready to go. Just requires some piloting, some really crafty piloting by Connor Voight. With that, let me make a roll for him, as he is going to make a piloting check. I am going to, well, no, he's going to get an assist from Mother. So in which case, I'll give him an extra die. So I'll only take off one die. He makes the piloting check here. But he has an 8 dice pool for his piloting, so he's doing just fine. Add that. And 3 successes. All right. You see the mother system link up, and as he's flipping switches, and you can all hear the engine starting to warm up on the Ilios, you see outside the cockpit window these huge gouts of steam and coolant from the ship across from you as their engines are starting to warm up. You can see the jet engines at the very back that help this thing take off. It begins to flex a little bit and widen as the core begins to heat up and starts to glow this vibrant, bright yellow-orange color. A few moments later, the Ilios begins to rumble as it fights the atmosphere, as hundreds of thousands of tons of thrust begin to launch this bison up into the air. And a few moments of the entire ship beginning to rattle. Despite the fact that the artificial gravity, you guys can feel the entire ship shake as you begin to fight against this planet's inclination to hug everything that comes near it.
Hey,
One
Eric,
by
one
one-
second. Your
My mic?
audio is really, really muffled, and it's getting difficult to hear you. I'm not sure if
Really?
the microphone changed or
Yeah,
something.
no, just please consume your mic just real quick.
Just
Just a little more.
I don't know. It was
Nothing has
getting
changed
like
in my
really
sound
muffled.
settings. Let me double check. Oh, my input gain dropped for whatever reason. There we go. How's that?
Please get them gains. Thank you.
Yeah, the input gain dropped down to 6. It's supposed to be at 15. What the F? No idea.
I have an idea about what that might be. We can go over it a break.
Okay.
Back later, yeah. Okay, cool. That's better. Sorry. Thank you. Keep
That's
going.
okay. Thanks for calling that. You guys feel the entire ship begin to rumble, and a few moments later, you all lift off. Connor begins to guide the ship higher and higher, and you can see just below the Ilios, the Corvus class vessel taking off. Judging from everything you're seeing on the trajectory of the flight plan, as the ship is shimmering and shaking, breaching the upper atmosphere, you get one last glimpse at Jinx Colony far down below. This place is now officially a graveyard. Lifting off, the Corvus class vessel follows the Ilios out of the upper atmosphere. And that haunting, bloody orange, reddish glow begins to fade away from the field of vision you can see just outside the cockpit windows, until finally you just see the crisp, glorious black coolness of space with stars all around you. After a few moments, there's that brief moment where you can feel the artificial gravity coming online as the Ilios stabilizes. And the shaking all but stops, and you just hear that gentle hum of her engines as you are all now back where she belongs. few moments later, you can see this small comet leaving the upper atmosphere, following its flight path until it too finally becomes a cool white dot a few thousand kilometers just outside the port window. A few moments after that, Connor positions the Ilios as y'all are sort of sliding away. Enters a few commands, and you see a spark of orange as the engines ignite on the Corvus, and it begins to follow the flight plan. A few moments later, you get confirmation, and you all watch as this brilliant orange white dot begins to grow smaller and smaller as it heads off toward the sun of this system. There's a quiet on the bridge as you all just kind of quietly watch this depart. A few moments later, Connor makes sure to check the sensors to see if there's another pirate ship out here. If your friends did actually stick around and maybe they're just lingering. The scopes are clear. Connor glances back at everyone and says, I think we did it. I think that was it. She'll send a ping. There'll be a bit of a delay depending on where we are. But I think that's it. So where are we going now? To Beacon, or are we going to the Delphini?
We got
Well,
people to drop off.
What are
Yeah,
we
we
going to
did
do
our
about the, what's his name? Ukov, or whatever his name is, down in the infirmary? Are we going to be dropping him off too? And how are you going to keep Manager Kelly quiet about all this? Never mind, Doctor.
About what?
All of this.
He's a middle manager type. And what we just left was a clusterfuck of epic proportions with his name on it. I don't think there's anybody more inclined to not talk about it than him. And from what I could tell, he's not the worst manager. And Beacon is a big station that could use a little bit of pencil pushing.
I
He'll
don't
probably
know.
head back to Wayland Yutani. I can't see him wanting to stay out here.
He's Wayland Yutani. Like, if you're not willing to tell the fucking Marines, why are you going to trust him not to go right back to the people who probably engineered that fucking thing?
He
You know,
also
honestly-
didn't have the doesn't have all the info that we do. He
Yeah.
saw a massacre and that's all he knows.
He hasn't been privy to this. But honestly, even if he was, we're getting rid of that stuff. So that's
Yeah, he
all.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's all that's
He doesn't
happened
know.
here. Yeah.
And if he's Wayland Yutani and Wayland Yutani is involved in this, they already know.
They already know. Yeah.
All right. I'll set a course for Beacon then. Everyone should get ready for some hypersleep.
All right.
All right.
Okay. With that, you part ways with Jinx Colony. And gradually, that orange-reddish planet becomes a bright dot about halfway through the system until finally it's just a very large pinprick in the sky behind you. You guys spend the next couple of days heading out of system until finally you're able to plot the FTL jump. We do a quick calculation. It should, let's see, 12. You were 2 parsecs away. No, you were 3 parsecs. No, 2 parsecs away from. So yeah, it'll take you 24 days in hypersleep to get back to Beacon. So with that, one by one, you all begin to settle down for a good month-long sleep, I suppose.
On
I
our
have
24
way-
days?
22
I have-
to back.
22 days?
I have
2 weeks.
18.
18 days. Okay. Oh, that's right. I have you listed as not a full 2 parsecs away. That's why.
I have
Yeah.
18 days in hypersleep
Okay.
from episode 23.
In which
Right,
case,
of
it's
course,
technically
because that was why we just barely missed
Isaac's
with Isaac's birthday timing.
birthday, yeah.
It was the whole
right.
thing.
Okay. So technically, it's 2 parsecs away, but I was only billing you guys for in between 1 and 2.
We got a deal. Before we go to sleep, Doc just wants to ask Isaac, do you want me to tell you where I put the book, or you want to keep hunting for it?
Don't you dare.
All right.
How are our patients, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, are very injured people, like recent amputation, is he good to go in hypersleep? We have someone who is in PTSD shock. How are our
Yeah.
people doing?
Ukov is fine.
Okay.
And is looking forward to the hypersleep.
Okay.
Dr. Brown is still unconscious.
Oh.
But Manager Kelly has come down and has calmed down and is also ready to get back to the core worlds. He seems to be very excited to be leaving this place. But aside from that...
And, well, what about West?
Yeah, West is...
Aaron Fisher.
He is not showing a lot of signs of improvement.
Okay.
And he's definitely demonstrating that he has a little bit more of awareness of where he is. But you get the impression he is going to need to be separated from this entire environment of space travel. He probably needs to get some serious R&R.
Yeah, so then if we have a couple days before we leave system, Tig spends like time with him, like most days, like not the entire day, but she sits and like spends time with him.
Tig, you've seen this before because you've been on the front lines of battle. You've seen soldiers kind of go into their mind palace to escape trauma when it was happening. He is slowly pulling himself out of it. So he is showing signs of improvement. And that usually tells you that that is somebody who is going to find their way out of this. But right now you can see he is still in self-defense mode. He is still protecting himself from what he has seen and what he experienced.
Yeah, she brings over, like, she gets a little tray of just like collects things from medbay and just kind of like talks to him, and does like we'll hand him a cotton ball because that's a funny texture. We'll give him an ice pack because that's a different temperature.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just like things we have, what sense, like grounding sensations. Basically, she'll just spend time with him every day.
As hard as it is to watch. By the third day on your way out of system where everyone's getting to bed down, he does start exhibiting signs of having a breakdown. He starts to have random fits of crying that he stops rather abruptly. You know that this is actually signs of improvement, that he is starting to break through and realize and process. So your instinct is that in the long run, he's going to be okay, but it's going to be a journey back to living with what he's experienced. But you start finding some hope for him. And he starts answering questions rather directly. By the time you guys are all getting to bed down, you think he's just going to need R&R. He's going to need to get away from this.
Cool. All right, cool. I've been worried about him for a while, and we hadn't had a chance to check in on that.
He is definitely, with the exception of perhaps Dr. Brown, he is definitely the most quote unquote injured of the party here. He is definitely experiencing it, but you are as you did on the front lines, you are seeing signs of improvement. Looks like he is settling. So, everyone beds down. Isaac, just to get this out of the way now. Go ahead and make me one Comtech and one heavy machinery check. You get to actually, no, I can roll Comtech for Mother.
Thank you.
Yep. Mother can handle that part. You can do the heavy machinery because she can't do that part. So.
Do I get a gear bonus on this heavy machinery check?
Yes, you do.
Lovely. I like having gear bonuses.
Yeah, yes, you do. So for those of you who are watching at home, whenever you jump into FTL, as days pass, depending on how long you're in FTL, the ship still requires maintenance, even during an FTL jump, which is another reason why it's super awesome to have a synthetic on board, because they can absolutely take care of that for you. Mother can take care of the contact check stuff. So what'd you roll?
4 successes.
Okie doke.
Nice.
4 successes. You are just fine.
Well,
Unfortunately, Mother rolled no successes on her 8 dice pool.
Disappointing.
Get it together, Mom.
Yeah, go tell her that. That's worked out for every crew in Alien ever.
Come on, Mom. Trying to FTL travel.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
The good news though is while y'all are in hypersleep, you get to collect another paycheck. So that's handy. However, I now have to roll on a table real quick. Ooh. That's easy enough to do. During travel, Isaac, at one point during travel, Mother alerts you that the refrigerator unit in the galley has ceased to function and that she is registering a malfunction on the temperature regulators. When you go in there, you do find that it indeed is going to require a heavy machinery check. It says all refrigerated foodstuffs on the ship are lost after 1 day. However, Mother was able to alert you to it. So you're going to make a quick heavy machinery check during the FTL travel.
Can I be so for real right now?
Yeah.
I wrote in my notes that the book is hidden in the refrigerator. I figured Isaac wouldn't go in.
I rolled on an 1166 table. I rolled on an 1166. I rolled 55, and 55 on minor component damage is refrigeration unit damaged.
And
Did
so
I
Mother
have
gave me the "Is your refrigerator running?"
Yeah.
diagnostic.
Yep.
Whereupon I catch you. I catch
That's-
you down.
You open it up
So funny.
and find the hidden book.
You tell Mother to get it together, and she ruined your surprise.
Yeah. Vengeance belongs to her.
Isaac,
Wow, this is like finding the Afikoman. This is great.
Isaac, the book is "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Oh.
Another Blade Runner reference. Martha, if you would do me a favor, I need you to roll a d6, please.
Okay.
Let me know if you roll a 1 or a facehugger.
Okay.
God damn it, Mom!
Mom! Neither. I rolled a 2.
Okay. You get to erase that rad from your character
All
sheet.
right. Bye-bye. Sorry, Doc. Maybe next time.
We were gonna be rad pals.
With
Now
that,
I'm just a solitary rad lad.
2 successes to repair.
Red.
okay, you're going to be able to repair it just fine. The refrigerator unit goes back online. You guys don't lose any of the foodstuffs.
Mother
So-
has no chill.
With that, the crew of the Ilios heads back to Beacon Station. When we come back in 10 minutes, we'll be docking at home base. You guys have been away for about 30, how long? 32, 36 days? Something like that?
18 and 18 plus however many days we were there.
36 days. 36, 37, 38. So almost 40 days you guys have been away.
40 days and 40 nights.
So we'll be back at Beacon. We'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Welcome back into our next absolutely bloody, horrifying, gory second half that Sam will absolutely love and feel no stress about, part of the episode of Beacon tonight.
Oh no, I'm
Lisa's-
so sorry. I just have to go grab my puppy. Tar can also disappear forever.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no.
Lisa will be back with us in just a moment, but we're going to go ahead and jump right back into the game with all of the crew experiencing chest bursters all at the same time and chasing Sam's synthetic around the ship. Sorry, I just can't help it. I can't
I don't
help
have
myself.
to be here. I watched 2.
You did. You watched 2
movie.
Predator movies, and you did great. So
Thank you. So
Let's go
sorry
ahead-
if I disrupted anyone's eardrums those times that I yelped. I really
it's
tried.
why they were there. So jumping back
Eardrums?
into the game tonight, before we get started with you guys waking up from the hypersleep, I need to make a couple of quick rolls here.
That's terrifying.
I know. I know.
Ooh, maybe it's incubating.
What? No, I don't like that either.
Sam said it, not me.
What can I say? You implanted something with me.
The synthetic
And that
is like
feeling in my chest just grew and grew.
the synthetic
until
is
it
like,
burst
oh
from me."
good. My new child that I implanted in the humans, the superior life form. Isaac
Really not, though. But,
Isaac
I
just
mean,
basically became David 2.0. Okay.
They're mid.
Respectfully, you're going off of what you've experienced in the RPG and what you've seen in the movies.
Yes.
So, ...
I just.
I think with the information you have, that is a fair assessment.
I think Earth organisms are more impressive.
I can't dispute that.
And so it's mid in that sense. Like if you matched them up with that which I find to be really cool, really stellar organisms. My May contains ions tomorrow is about a cool one. I think they're cooler than xenomorphs. So there.
I mean, the moment it was revealed that bacteria was growing and thriving near the vents at the bottom of the ocean, where the water temperatures reach a scalding temperature that should not be supporting life. Just another reason to be deeply impressed. Life finds a way. Okay, so quick roll here.
Now I'm just into cyanobacteria appreciation hours. Thanks for that.
So for 18 days, Isaac, your journey is quiet, and you have a book to read. You guys leave FTL, jumping out of the hyper jump. Mother alerts you that you guys are coming up upon the coordinates and are entering the system in which Beacon is currently located. Sure enough, you see the sweet sight of the Beacon logo, little carrot appearing on the screen where you see it indicated you guys are about 3 hours away. Mother jumps out of FTL, and one by one, down in the hibernation chamber, the hypersleep pods begin to power down and go into their wake cycles. After about 20 minutes, hatches slowly rise as lights begin to flicker on. And you guys once again experience the somewhat disorienting but becoming ever increasingly familiar and less abrasive experience of waking up from 18 days in hypersleep. Doc, even though you're getting used to it, the hydrate pills that everyone takes before they go to sleep, waking up, having rolled, everyone's feeling a little hungover, a little exhausted. It's not as bad as it normally is. 18 days is pretty light considering space travel. What's always a little frustrating is how easy Connor has taken to it. He just sits back up and just stretches a little bit. Stares off into nothingness for a bit. Swings his feet over the side, stands up and pads his way over to his locker and starts humming to himself as he opens it up, puts a necklace on, starts putting his clothes on. One by one, you're all getting up. You can already smell drifting down the corridor the coffee that is brewed. Isaac, of course, doing one of the most vital things that Isaac could possibly do, taking the edge off of 18 days in hypersleep. Isaac there's a lot of reasons to appreciate your synthetic crew member. Never mind the fact that they've saved your life. That one time they let go and fell a full 100 feet down a ladder shaft to stop face huggers from chasing you guys up to the next floor is probably on par with the fact that they also just prepped coffee for everybody after waking up. 18
Except
days.
Martha, who likes hot bug juice.
You guys gather. It is also worth noting, after you get up from hypersleep, that joining you guys in the galley is Dr. Brown, who has his arm in a sling, rings under his eyes. He's constantly struggling to clean his glasses with one hand. And everyone is awake, though. Everyone is situated around the table as one by one everyone sits down. Using a crutch, you can see that Ukov is here as well. Dr. Brown is glancing up again and again at Ukov nervously and just looking across the table at him. Manager Kelly is having some small talk conversations. No one seems to be talking about anything serious, and Connor is very quiet, enjoying his coffee, looks content. He's just no work talk for the first 20 minutes as everyone starts their usual routine. The lights flickering to life down the corridors as Mother is starting to leave her standby state. But
I'm once again, Tig needs is kind of mind on Aaron Fisher. How did those 18 days under treat him?
he's one of the people at the table that is not talking, but he is eating and he's just watching
That's
everyone
good.
else.
Okay.
Every now and then, Manager Kelly leans over to him and asks him something, and he will just nod back quickly as he continues to eat. Kelly just kind of pats him on the shoulder and keeps eating. About the point you walk into the room, Doc, Mother immediately brings up on one of those thick glass console screens to your right, giving you a status report of the ship. You do note that during travel there was a malfunction with the refrigerator unit here, and it shows a log report indicating Isaac logged a fix, time, date of during the transit, opening and fixing the refrigerator unit.
Well, shit.
They brought a book to the breakfast table. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Well, I guess our scavenger hunt is over for the time being.
Oh, you thought what did he give you?
I don't.
I bet it's a program or something you could do if you wanted.
Is it the birthday book, Isaac? Is that the same? Wow. Wow. Good
It's a
job, Doc.
birthday that keeps on. Well, I guess they all kind of do, don't they? Linear passage of time.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you find yourself having a spare moment, Isaac, I'd love to talk to you about the book if you so
Actually, since we're all here, Ukov tosses this lump of legendarily shitty cornbread down onto his plate in front of him, situates and he goes, I'd like to talk about what you all planning on doing with me. Every time I asked, we'll deal with this later,
What do you want us to do with you?
What do I want you to do?
Yeah.
I don't want to be turned into the authorities, if that's what you're asking me.
That's the full wish list.
I don't want to ask for too much. You've already saved my life, pulled me out of a bad situation. I've lost my crew, my leg, lost most of my equipment, people that I knew. Don't want to ask for too much. If I have to ask for anything, I'd prefer not to be executed for piracy.
Well, I mean, you did stand up for the hostages being held. You stood up to your captain.
Kelly immediately pipes up, yeah, but not until after he was running for his life. I mean, no offense, but no. You don't get a free pass. You charged into my facility, a Weyland-Yutani facility, and you held
Kelly.
a bunch of people hostage.
Kelly, I'm not talking to you right now, and I have not had enough coffee to be interrupted. So, can you give me a minute?
This thick silence falls over the table. You see Connor with a smirk on his face from his cup of coffee glances over at Kelly. Kelly seems to look around the table for support to see if anybody is on his side here. Of course, his former employee who's sitting next to him is not paying attention to this conversation at all. And Dr. Brown is eating one of those pieces of shitty cornbread and doesn't say a word, just looks down at his plate. And Kelly finally says, fine.
Thank you. We can chat later if you really want to, but just give me a minute. It's early. And she looks back at Ukov and says, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm also not in the business of seeing people dead. So I guess it depends on what you want out of your future, I guess. Not dead. It's a great start.
Not dead is a good start.
You married to the pirate life?
I don't presume to know how things are on your side of the border out here in the dark, but when the frontier war ended, there were many in the UPP who were quite upset and disenchanted with our government. Of course, the official story is that our government also did not know what was going on. When we discovered that we had been played by Wayland Yutani, he looks directly at Kelly, and among other corporations. Uh, Let us just say we were expected to go back to our former lives and pick up where we left off for the good of the progressive peoples. But that's a difficult thing to do after you've been a soldier and done the things that I do. I was trained to fight on the wars. I got a little bit of work as a bounty hunter. Didn't suit me. Falling into the pirate thing, I met people who were like me. They're all dead now. And
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. I can see, he points at your dog tags, but you have some idea of what they speak of. No, I was doing the pirate thing, as you put it, because what else was I to do? But I won't lie to you, since you have been honest with me. I am not a good person. You don't do what I do if you're a good person. But am I loyal? If you are loyal to me, I can be just as loyal to you. So I guess the next question, since you're asking me, is does this crew need more muscle? And what's the pay?
Well, you found your pirate crew after you lost faith in your military training. I found Beacon, and it's definitely not perfect. I don't think that there's much favor in calling anything black and white, good or bad. I think we're just trying our best out here. But I don't have full authority here. These are, and she kind of like lifts up her dog tags, old news. But I'd be willing to stand up for you, to, and she looks at the rest of the crew, maybe have some conversations. If that's what you want. You still need to heal. You are in no condition to be doing long space missions with us or with anything right now. But as I said, I am not in the business of killing. I'm also not a huge fan of our carceral system as a whole, but it's a different conversation. You seem like you need a place, and if you're willing to find it, I'm willing to help you.
Not. You hear timidly on the other side of the table, Kelly say, Can I say something now?
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn you in. He looks directly over at Ukov and says, I'm absolutely turning you over to the authorities.
I turn to Martha and say, how much that promotion, how much sway that promotion get you?
Well, I mean, if someone can provide us value to our mission, then I could make an argument.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
Ukov immediately speaks up and he says, I've been to Delphini. I know my way around the facility. I know what you're probably going to be looking for there. I'm willing to go back if it means I can buy my way out of this life.
And Kelly, I am sorry to steamroll you. Again, it's early. This is our ship. This is our station. It's not owned by Wayland Yutani. You're a guest in this house right now, and I appreciate hearing your thoughts. I'm glad you feel comfortable. You know, once I'm done talking, you know, not interrupting. It's great. But you're a guest right now until you get back on your home turf. And we're happy to take you where you need to go, but your demands don't hold as much weight here as they did back on Jinx Colony. Respectfully, but it's true.
I can't stop you. No one can stop this from happening. I get that. But you can be damn sure, and he points at Ugal from across the table, I'm going to be telling everyone about you. I'm going to tell Wayland Utani. I'm going to tell the authorities.
Doc slams his hands on the table and stands up. All right. I was hoping that we would all collectively learn the value of mercy and second chances. Everyone besides my crew on this ship would be a corpse if we all didn't display an outrageous and courageous amount of mercy.
He's a pirate!
And you headed a facility that was working on illegal experiments that turned people into goddamn monsters.
What?
No,
That's horseshit. We were working on it. We were an ore processing facility. I didn't know what Nakamura was doing.
do you think the court of law would give a shit about your ignorance?
So
If you
what
were
are you
supposed-
asking me to do? You asking me to what? Lie to my employers about this guy? What am I supposed to tell them? That our what? I guess our collective
You're
body of
supposed-
employees just got together and decided to blend themselves and throw the remains into the corner of the facility? Like, what do you expect from me exactly?
I'm expecting simple subtraction. You were attacked by pirates, subtracted by 1. It's elementary. Today, you learned to practice mercy. You were the head of that facility. You were supposed to know the ins and outs, but you were a goddamn puppet. You didn't know. You could play that as ignorance, but I play it as incompetence. So, today what we're going to do is take a deep breath and understand that this man is a mean son of a bitch. And unfortunately, I've learned the usefulness of mean sons of bitches out here. Beacon is a home full of sheep, and I think what it needs is a wolf of its own. And that's just it. So that we can go to more places with either ignorant or incompetent managers and continue to save more lives like yours. Now, if you want to slow me down with bureaucracy and bullshit, go for it. But I promise you that if that's the decision that you are committed to, then your flight can end here.
You see his eyes widen and say, what do you mean by that?
I've learned the usefulness of mean sons of bitches. And if you want to threaten somebody on my ship to turn them in, then maybe I should try to emulate one.
He shifts in his seat and glances back down at his food.
Or I could give it to my better mercy and we can all practice empathy, mercy, and forgiveness. So if you want to play this game, then let me know, because I'll play it too.
He doesn't respond. He keeps his eyes down. Just starts picking at his food.
This is wrong.
It is. That's why I'm glad we all chose mercy today.
Gov leans across the table to Kelly and says, you didn't know what Nakamura was doing. I was told by my captain we were delivering things.
I did not see what she was doing. Now, it's true. You live in the law. I do not. But can you, Waylon Yutani, look me in the eye and tell me that somehow you are working for someone who has less blood on their hands than a pirate crew? Hmm?
Kelly fidgets a little and says, "Yeah, I mean, you're making good points. I can see where you're coming from. I guess it's fine. We can let the matter drop. It's fine."
And for what it's worth, I wouldn't actually hurt you. I just get cranky after the ice sleep. My knees hurt. And there's a lot of crosstalk.
Kelly just nods quickly and just
life.
continues continues eating. You do hear Isaac say that though in the corner.
What did Isaac say?
You threatened his life. Doc. Captain. Doctor. Captain.
I would really like to talk to you about that book when you have a free moment.
They look over at Ukov. They look back. Like, is this just decided then? Is this the thing you're in charge of?
You're talking to the captain,
To
I'm
Doc.
guessing? To Doc, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the matter is settled.
Why? Because he said he went to a planet once?
I think
Those people in the facility are dead.
yes.
Didn't they deserve mercy? Do their lives matter less? And
Kelly,
if there's less blood on Kelly's hands, fine, but isn't that a Kelly problem?
Kelly starts motioning to Isaac, like, do you see what I'm saying? Guy like immediately throws the hands open and motions.
Isaac, we can choose to identify somebody by their worst mistakes, or we can do what we can to guide them to a better way.
If I
It
may,
wasn't a mistake. He didn't trip and fall onto a gun.
I think I might be able to help to solve this problem that I seem to be guilty of causing. Why don't we say we meet halfway? Drop me off at Beacon. And we just go our separate ways.
That's where I object, actually. We're not giving you a free ride. You did what you did, and you can start to atone for it by helping us do a good thing.
Well, I don't mind that, but it sounds like there's objections.
Yeah, but you're not going to get a free ride, is all I'm saying. Just because
right.
there are objections.
Fine, then I will stay out of this then. You can tell me what you decide to do with me later. It's good cornbread.
He gets up from the table,
Just leave you to it.
takes his crutch, leans on it as he starts making his way out of the galley.
I turn to everyone else at the table and I say, you know what? He tried it. It's a smart move, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure where I stand, to be honest, between the different viewpoints here. So
From what I've seen in Paxton's Reach and our last trip, I see people unprepared. I see people who never thought the day would come where they would have to defend themselves. And what I see in that man is somebody who survived, somebody that knows how to survive. the usefulness I see in him is not the information on some planet. I see his ability to teach our people how to survive. I don't want to ever come home to Beacon and see it look like any of those places.
I suppose it's about my turn to weigh in on this. Since it wasn't too long ago where you were trying to convince me to go on some damn fool errand to save the universe. If I can just add a little bit of here and do whatever you want with it. Let me just tell you, I've been shipping around the space lanes for a better part of 8 decades now. And I can tell you, men like him, frankly, need to be put up against a bulkhead and shot. I'm saying that because you haven't seen what pirates do to people, how they lie, and what they're willing to do once they've entered that life. I've seen it. I've seen his type so many times. Now, having said that, all of you are talking about doing the right thing right now and getting rid of this other thing that's going on. And I just want to point out that since we're going off the map in that regard, and he's been there, I don't think we should really be debating this. I think he should come with us if we're going to do this. He's been there. I think he would be a lot of help. I mean, if he's willing to put himself back in harm's way to buy his way out of that, I mean, one more heavily muscled lunatic with a gun between me and whatever it is we're going to meet when we get there. If he's willing to do it, I say let him. I mean, we're already kind of... Could you leave? I really need to talk to my crew, and your being here is a problem.
During this whole speech, Martha has been very uncomfortably making like body
Kelly has been watching this
movements,
with
like,
a crinkled brow and is like, what are y'all talking about? And you see Connor just go,
I need you to leave. It's nothing personal. You haven't pissed me off at all. At all. I completely get where you're coming from. I've been attacked by pirates 3 times in my life. More than you. Didn't in the same way. None was eaten. But still, I need you to leave.
Kelly, would you mind taking Aaron back to his bed in medbay, please?
fine. Come on. Aaron immediately not paying attention.
Yeah.
Kelly pushes his way out of the booth. And the two of them move out of the galley. As soon as they're out, taking a dry swallow from bad cornbread, taking a sip from bug juice, Dr. Brown goes, I haven't had much of a chance to say anything yet. I feel like I've missed a few things since I was taking my nap.
Oh, he's awake now. Okay, I missed that.
He's been sitting here the whole time with his arm in his
Okay.
sleeve.
He was unconscious when we went to sleep, so I didn't know if he was still up.
He's like,
Just checking.
should I also leave? Because it sounds like you guys want to have a chat, and maybe I need to leave too.
Yeah, could you feed my cat?
You have a cat?
Yeah, he's right down the way.
Yes.
He's a doctor, so be respectful.
Oh my God, I have not seen a cat in... When was the last time I saw a cat? And he starts sliding out of the booth and he goes, I'll go feed your cat. This sounds great. And after a few moments, the crew of the Ilios is the only one left in the galley. As soon as y'all are relatively sure that you're alone, Connor goes, Mother, are you there? Yes, Connor. Yeah, would you do me a favor and just monitor our guests to make sure they're not going anywhere they're not supposed to be going? Like, you know, former UPP Black Op pirate doesn't make his way down to the engineering bay and blow up the ship or something. Of course. Thank you. Right. So the point that I was trying to make, and I think you all got the gist of it, is just that we're already breaking the law, doing what we're talking about doing. Let's take the fucking pirate with us. If he wants to buy his way out and he thinks this is the gate we're willing to let him pass through to do it. I mean, yeah, he's done some fucked up things, but if y'all are making the case for how many lives we're about to save, bear the cross and take him with us. And then we'll just have, you know, another hired muscle.
I mean, let's be honest, though. I think we can all agree that he's going to probably try to pull some bullshit at
Mhm.
some point, but
Oh yeah.
we'll be ready for it. And I still think it's better to have him with us. So just throwing that out there. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. And Tig, what you asked me before, I really can make a call or send a message and help him cut some kind of deal, shorten his time or
Oh,
even
yeah.
lighter sentence, something.
Do it official like, because Waylon
Yeah.
Utani is going to want a piece of that guy.
Now, this is where the Colonial Marines comes in handy. They would love to take care of this pirate if it means Waylon Utani doesn't get to decide his fate.
But what happens if Sorry, I was just going to ask, what happens if your higher-ups start asking questions?
Well, that's a good question because also we're bringing him into this special mission of ours. So
maybe it is a better idea to get rid of him. I don't know what I think anymore. It seems like if we take him with us, we can use him, and it would be great. If we turn him over to the authorities, we avoid pissing off Waylon Utani, but it's going to get a lot of questions asked about everything we found there. And if you're dead set on nobody finding out about what we found there, he's
well,
going to be working against it.
here's the thing. Oh, goodness. I'm also now thinking too, like
Yeah,
the way that we found that sample,
right.
if he happens to find and pocket it,
I mean, he knows what his boss became.
right.
It's only a matter of time. If Waylon Utani gets their hands on him, once they found out that there was somebody back dealing, I mean, we still don't even know if Nakamura was working for Waylon Utani. He might have been taking direct orders from the higher ups. I mean, this is the weapon thing that they wanted, isn't it? Isn't that what you all said?
Theoretically.
I think it's worth taking the risk, bringing him along, because our whole desire here, mission here, is to destroy this stuff, find it and destroy it. So
Right.
as long as we can make sure he doesn't have sticky fingers, I can make sure to keep an extra eye on him when we're down there. And he can't take anything for himself. He can talk all he wants. I actually don't care. Like we said, Waylon Utani probably already knows about this stuff and wants it. But as long as they don't get it, then I think we're good.
There's no right or wrong here. Like I said, there's no good or bad. It's just, it's a very complicated gray situation. I just think enough people died.
It's all super gray, for sure.
I just think enough people died on Jinx, and I don't think anyone else needs to. So whether that's telling a couple lies or if that's employing him to help us out, I don't give a shit. I just don't. There's no reason to hand someone over to their death.
Last thing I'll say on this, just so you know, because I know a little bit about the law, being someone who's worked in shipping all my life, if we give aid and comfort to a pirate, we can be brought up on charges of piracy. I'm just going to point that out. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm just pointing it out.
I'll get the Marines on the phone and let them know so that we're not, this is the first chance we've had to call them really about taking the pirate with us. We went straight into hypersleep to get off of that planet, so I don't think that'll be an issue.
Isaac's been watching Doc's reactions, Doc's micro expressions throughout the sort of pragmatic conversation between Connor and Martha.
Doc doesn't agree with any of this.
So Doc is just sitting there with the occasional cheek twitch as this conversation is happening.
Well, then I guess that's what we're doing, Martha. I guess you're talking to your higher ups, and we hope they don't ask too many questions about Jinx Colony.
Is that the right thing?
Yeah, what do we all feel about that?
What pool does the UN have? We were working with the UN. Is there
United Nations?
Yeah, is there any muscle that they have?
So that is a really gray area kind of question, because you could argue jurisdictions here, but it's always going to come down to how many friends in high places do you have? Because if you're going to read it from the flat law, Connor is actually, without having anybody roll, Connor is telling the truth that if you decide to provide aid and comfort to somebody who is guilty of piracy, you guys could be brought up on that.
Even if our mission is aid and comfort to
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we wouldn't be liable for the medical aid provided. It's what's done after that, because we would be doing a variant on obstruction of justice. We'd be preventing someone coercively from filing a legal complaint, namely Manager Kelly. And we would be failing to report evidence related to piratical crimes.
Remember, Jinx Colony was not the only colony they've hit. It was in their ship's log. This was not their own. That was not their first rodeo, and you have no idea how those other things went down.
I will say, Tig brought up Martha's promotion more so to get Kelly to stop yelling at her.
Right.
I don't. Tig and Caitlin don't actually have any feelings about whether we follow that particular course. That was more direct. That was more for Kelly's sake, just for
Sure.
the table.
Mhm. I will say, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it means that there's a possibility of preventing people from, not using the justice system without necessarily sentencing someone to death.
Yeah, about that. And this is kind of as Martha, we're in a little like above table, in table, whatever we're in right now.
Limbo.
I will say, Martha will say, I don't think we need to prevent Kelly from reporting. And that's why I think we should go through the Marines, because the Marines, they have me out here to watch Wayland Yutani. And if I can say, hey, Wayland Yutani reported this pirate, as they should have, we need him for one thing that actually will help us, save lives, will help us prevent his pirating from killing more people, because we're backtracking to things they did before we caught them. I think that's valid. I think that's legally valid. The Marines will, again, I think they would appreciate the chance to kind of like grab someone who, I know it's kind of hard to navigate, like not revealing why, like the actual thing, but I don't know why, but I just feel like
there's also like the power, like restorative justice as opposed to like like penal, which
absolutely.
is
And,
like I think that's where I'm coming from, just as like a player, as a person. Like I would rather not just throw this guy in the slammer or get him like killed. That's kind of very much,
or let him off scot free. Like second
No.
chances doesn't mean you don't
exactly
pay for your crimes. Like I'm sorry, like there has to be some type of restoration of justice or something,
Doc, I think Doc is gonna break the silence and just say, I'd be dead if it weren't for that man.
Yeah. He also did bad things, Doc. And that's not okay.
And he showed the capacity to do good things.
Yeah. So, restorative versus throwing the book at him and never letting him see the light of day again, I think is fair.
It is worth pointing out that this is the alien universe, and it is dystopian as fuck. And
well, we're doing our own
criminals. If you think the way the American justice system is bad, in this universe, it is very.
We acknowledge that restorative justice in this scenario involves criming very hard.
Yeah, it's us.
Yeah.
It's us doing the restorative.
We sign on the crime line.
Yep.
Why is my camera doing this? So annoying.
You're giving such a good performance. Your camera can't even handle it.
I just think with everything that we've seen out here, this place, I'd never touched a weapon with intent to harm before I made it here. I'd never wanted to hurt a living soul before I came here. There's so much out here that wants to kill and destroy. Do we need to add to it?
I think you're a good man, Doc, because you're taking on a lot that's not yours to take on. It's not your fault this man decided to become a murderous bastard. You can't save him from himself. I'm just saying, there comes a time where the check is due. And we can kind of play with that a little bit. If he wants to get a little bit of redemption story in there, maybe buy himself a little time away from some punishment by doing some good. But all I know is if we turned him over now as a pirate, they are going to murder. He's going to be executed. They don't throw pirates in jail out here, especially not after the frontier and colony wars. They just get rid of them. But I think Martha might have a good idea of helping this man find a way around that unfortunate consequence of his actions. So, I don't know. Let me put it this way, Doc. The alternative is all of us end up in jail. I mean, the Elias gets impounded, Beacon gets audited, we all get thrown in prison.
I
Do
have.
I get impounded or thrown in prison?
Well, I don't even want to know what they would do to a synthetic that lied about having a criminal on board.
Hey, no one's asked.
No one's convicted.
Don't even want to think about
Likely
it.
they would try to wipe Isaac and assign Isaac somewhere else.
I don't like that.
You know,
Just doesn't end well, is all I'm saying.
I understand that, and I think that the world's logic is wrong. I think that the remedy for someone that has taken lives isn't to take one more. I think it is to put that person in a position where they can save lives. You say the check comes due. Well, I say, God damn it, let's get him. There's never going to be getting him out of the red, but
But we can try, right?
I see what you're saying, Doc. I don't disagree with you.
Maybe maybe we should see how it goes. It seems like we all, I don't know if we all agree that we should take him with us, but if we do, maybe we see how he does. And then, yeah.
I mean, we are making this pretty hard on ourselves. No matter what happens,
Yeah.
he's going to be very useful if we're actually going to this place. We already saw what jumped out of that fucking thing at Martha. If there's more of that waiting for us there, if it came from there.
Oh my God. By the way, I've never, ever had a dream where I was sleeping with my helmet on until that hypersleep. That helmet
Yeah.
literally saved my gourd.
Well, look, Beacon is about an hour and 45 minutes out. We're going to be in comms range in about 30 minutes. So we've got a little bit of time, but only a little bit of time. So I'll do whatever y'all want to do. You've got my silence or my voice, whatever you want. I don't know what the fuck has come over me. I've been listening to this.
We
bullshit
got
long
you,
enough.
Connor. We got you. You're one of us now.
I honestly, every time I take over a pilot seat, I like to think of myself in a long line of pilots. And when I meet a new crew, especially one who used to have a pilot, I always ask myself, what would their former pilot do if I'm not sure? Well, you guys help me learn a little bit about him, and I have a feeling he'd be pissed at me if I didn't go along with this.
and he'd be a pain in my ass the entire time.
That's a given.
Here's my final thoughts on the matter. I refuse to respect a law that is so eager to kill a man like him while ignoring the crimes of people that are playing with these weapons. Absolute carnage.
Amen to that.
I agree.
Sometimes it's necessary to acknowledge when a law is wrong
Yep. And act against it. By the way, I think I thought of a solution to our how do we tell them why we're going to Delphini problem?
Mm.
What if we tell them that he knows where there are either hostages or people who got away from their last attack? He kept it quiet, but he's the only one who knows where they are, so he has to lead us back there.
What does the new what's his name who took over after Varela? I can't think of his name. Starts with a B.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, at Beacon Station.
Oh,
Yeah.
our bishop?
You're talking
No,
about
no, no.
Preston.
Oh,
Preston Baker.
Baker.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the name.
Sorry, bishop.
How much does Baker know? Right in the franchise. Wrong way of property.
Right in the franchise.
Right in the franchise. What? I don't remember how much. It's been so long. How much he knows about all of this? Because Varela was just like letting us do whatever we wanted. Baker, I don't
Baker
know.
runs a tighter ship.
Yeah.
But also, Varela was really giving you guys the appearance of being able to do whatever you wanted, but she was monitoring.
She was doing it. But
Baker, if you're,
Baker's in the FUN kind of mood. They tossed him around like a rag doll, and he was tired of it last we saw him.
It is true that Baker's a little afraid right now because he agreed to a deal that turned out to be a different deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it still saved Beacon, but he's a little pissed right now. The Mother mission was not something he agreed to, and getting drawn into it has kind of pissed him off a little bit. And
so my inquiry, I guess, would be based on things that I can't remember about where we're at with him. Like, how receptive would he be to knowing what we're doing? Like, does he know about this stuff?
So you want to know?
I don't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to
remember.
You want
to know? You're trying to figure out how Baker would take this if you guys brought him in.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if he was already in or not. That was what I was asking.
Baker, you're not sure how much Baker knows because you guys have never had a conversation.
Okay, that's what. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, you know that he knows about Varela's arrest and prosecution.
Yeah,
and you know he knows about the Rasmussen being stolen, and you know he knows that Varela's son was on that thing. You don't know how much more, what details he knows. You're not sure. Now, if you want to try to get a sense of how you think he approachable, if you were like, hey, listen, Baker, if I was to tell you that we are sort of giving sanction to a pirate so we could go find a Black Ops facility that's been abandoned that has a bioweapon on it that could kill everybody and we wanted to destroy it, would you be cool with that? What you could do is you could roll a wits observation check. Right now.
Do I have to do that? Oh, I can do it now.
This is literally, this is Tig kind of digging deep and trying to get a sense of where she thinks Baker might land on the subject.
Yeah. Since we're nearing the end of the game, could I take an aux point so we can say somebody's name?
God, we are nearing the end of the game. I didn't even notice that.
We've been having fun. We've been having deep conversations.
Yeah, this is from Aether Spoon.
Thank you.
Super Punk Aether Spoon, giving you the aux points. You get in 1 auto 6.
And all my stress is gone because I slept for 18 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And wits observation. Right? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. Thanks for the aux point because I didn't roll any 6s.
Okay. With that 1 success, you will know Baker will absolutely go to the UN with this.
Okay. All right.
Cool. There's no doubt in your mind Baker would 100% side with everything you guys are doing.
Okay.
But Baker right now is looking after the welfare of 111 crew members of Beacon that are currently trying to get this thing up off the ground. And after what Beacon just went through, if he pulls some bullshit, they'll shut it down. So you know that his obligation would be immediately to report this shit. Baker's the type of person that would be like, I'm going to tell them, I'll give you 2 days to run.
That's an option. That's an option.
That's the kind of guy Baker is, because he's on y'all's side, but he is bound by his duty.
Yeah.
Okay, so your immediate sense take. That's what you get.
Sweet. Cool. Okay. That's good to know. I just more as a player wanted to remember where he was at in all this.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have a feeling that Baker's Team Helios, but he will do what he has to do as commander of Beacon.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Doc is gonna just, as things start to quiet down, kind of as I try to pull Isaac to the side.
Hi, I'm sorry if that got heated. It didn't really feel the way that doing the right thing usually makes me feel, so I wanted to ask questions. I hope I didn't ask too many questions.
Do you like the book?
I loved it.
I'm glad. I picked it for a reason. I've been wanting to have this conversation with you, and I thought it might contextualize the things that I want to tell you. And this will be my third time having this particular talk. So
I know how babies are made, and that's not how it works. Different talk.
no. This is a much different. Not, I mean, probably as awkward, but equally necessary.
So far.
Good. Isaac, I just first and foremost want you to know that you are an incredible person. You are just fantastic and a good friend, and also also you're a little different. I'm a little different too. And sometimes that puts you in danger, and that's why I wanted you to read that book, not to understand. I needed you to understand human fear and why they do things like putting behavioral chips in the sort and make laws. I care about you deeply, and I need you to just kind of understand the context of the world around you. I mean, you're still like a 1-year-old, so I figure.
Well, yeah, only for a couple weeks.
What you saw in there was ugly. It was brutal. It was cold, calculated, but more than anything, it was human. And I saw how you looked at me when I said and did some of the things that I said and did back there, which I'm not necessarily proud of, but I need you to understand I'm human too, Isaac. Which means that I am capable of the same stupidity and ignorance that has been trademarked to our species. There are going to be several times that I disappoint you. There will be plenty of times where I fail you. And it is not because I do not care about you, because I do. I care about you so much, Isaac. But humans are flawed. And they're especially flawed in the face of something that is different and beautiful. I like to think that wiser individuals can see the beauty in all things. That's why when I see our companion, I know what he's done. I know what he's capable of doing, but I also see what he could choose to if guided. Some will call that naive. They'd be right. Again, human. I want you to be prepared for all the spectacular stupidity that comes with humanity. Some of it will be amusing, but also be aware that some of it will put you in genuine peril, even someone as capable as you. Now, I've done a lot of talking, so I'm gonna let you get a word in there, Twice.
Why did people write that book? It's fiction. I know how fiction works. And people write about stories because the idea makes them feel some kind of way. Why are they afraid of us?
They're afraid of different. Sometimes we have to fool ourselves to digest the medicine. You wouldn't believe how many stories were written about androids, and they're talking about folks that look like me. Sometimes we have to lie to get to the truth. And the truth is, under it all, life matters. Doesn't matter if it's circuits or blood. Doesn't matter if it's black or white. Doesn't matter if it's... It just doesn't matter. Not everybody has gotten that particular medicine. So be careful. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that need that particular lesson are in places of power. And they make us do stupid things like restrain wonderful Isaacs.
Isaac will reach out and with body language touch the side of Doc's face.
You want to know
a lot more to learn from you.
Yeah. I think I got a lot more to learn from you. I'm sorry I was less than what you expected today.
Right is complicated and hard to find.
That it is.
So it takes a survey team. I think we're finding it together.
Well, I can trust that if I go too far left, I've got a fantastic crew that'll collectively kick my ass in the right direction.
Metaphorically, yes.
Isaac
hugs Doc.
Oh, there it is.
Your spine is immediately realigned, Doc.
Oh, yeah, he's like, that's we're gonna have to add that to the list.
The synthetic hugs you.
Oh, wow. I want Isaac to hug me now.
You feel a good couple of pops. You didn't realize just how stiff the hypersleep had made you until Isaac realigns you.
Oh, ooh, oh, yeah. We're gonna have to add that to the thing the things that we do after yell.
Okay.
I can smell better. I don't even know how that happened.
But you're a doctor, aren't you supposed to know that?
Yeah.
Start moving back toward the
You think?
The rest of the crew, and they'll toss an arm.
Yep.
Moving back to the rest of the crew, you find Connor on the flight deck with a big smile on his face. He's not in the seat. He's leaning over the top of his seat. And you can see he's pulled out what looks like a small flask and has poured this golden, rich maple syrup colored liquid into it that anybody who walks in can smell the alcohol immediately. But it's his favorite flask. You see him pour into it and squeezes it shut and looks up as anybody who's approaching into the flight deck. And he raises up a tin cup and he goes, "All tradition. Every time I see port, I always thank my lucky stars I made it back home." And he raises the cup, and you see just beyond the port, the view window, drifting out in the darkness, just visible because of the running lights shining upon the great logo of the station that has been well placed finally on the center of the hull. Home sweet home. Beacon. just lingering out there in the darkness and really representing its name brand quite well, as it is the only thing out here amongst this deep space that is currently glowing bright in the dark. Upon approach, you can already starting to hear the radio chatter coming across the comms and the sweet familiar sound of the radio crackling to life and young Julio Villalobos with music blasting in the background saying, "Hey, Elios, we've got you on Scopes. Good to see you. Welcome home." Connor reaches over and activates the comms and says, motions to whoever wants to respond.
Oh, hey, buddy. How you doing up there?
Oh, you know, I'm bathing, so things have gotten better. How are you doing?
Hey, you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for that.
I've gone ahead and let Preston know y'all are coming back into town. Y'all are just getting here. We got notified the mother mission is arriving tomorrow morning.
Whoa,
So
all
talk
right.
about skin of your teeth.
Wow. Thanks for the heads up. Lost track of time out there.
Yeah, you know where your parking space is. We'll see you when you're back on board. Welcome home.
All right. Thanks.
It switches off.
Shit.
Yeah. What do we do with our little friend?
Yeah, I guess we never really decided, did we?
Also, I forgot that there's literally this. There's also a timing issue in all this.
Yeah.
We can't just go to Delphini. We have this other mission we're supposed to do.
Yeah, have y'all decided
Oh,
what
yeah.
you want to do about that? Because last I heard, you were actually thinking
We-
about not
yeah.
going, right?
I mean, I think
What's
I
up?
can opt out too. I mean, I
It's
kind
a
of was
Big
ordered.
paycheck, though. I mean, I'm not suggesting we abandon what we were talking about, but I mean, at least I haven't been brought in on any conversations about. I was under the impression we were doing this until we went. If this is leaving tomorrow,
Just as much disclosure as I can give you all, I was ordered to be on that mother mission, but Delphini is important, and I can maybe make a call, make a case for skipping mother or catching up to them later and doing our thing instead. So
I think
How-
first things first, we need to figure out how we're handling Ukov. If you're going to talk to your people, that's the most immediate thing that we can do.
Mhm.
We need to know if what we're saying, who's going to know. That's the most pertinent. We're going to dock, and we're going to have to know what to do with that.
yeah.
From there, we
Yeah.
have other long-term decisions to make.
I have an
Yeah.
absolute batshit suggestion that I'm just going to throw out there.
Yeah, hit us.
Well, there might be a win-win here. I mean, maybe we could talk to Kelly about this, but what if the way out, if we're talking about Ukov buying his way back into having freedom or whatever by doing good, but we're feeling kind of weird about where that's going to put us if he comes with us? Why don't we throw his ass onto the mother mission? Why don't we just hand him over? I mean, he's going to be gone for what, 6 years out in deep space? And there's going to be UPP people involved. I mean, let's make it their problem, right? I mean, what if we just found a way to sort of sweep him away? I don't know. Is that something we could do?
The goal isn't to get rid of him. The goal is to give him a second shot.
Well, I mean, he's going to be helping people just beyond the red line, right? I
think Hannah has a point.
Just a suggestion. It's a long shot, but
It's
If
not a
he's
bad
serious
idea,
about-
but it's different. Go for it.
If he's serious about doing better, then he'll take the chance. And if he's not, there are plenty of people on that mission who will be equipped to prevent him from harming others.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a
what we
bad
want
plan.
for him is to do better.
Yeah, I don't object to the plan. I object to the framing. Is all.
Huh.
We're not getting rid of him. We're giving him a chance to make good choices.
All right, we could tell them that. I mean, I just wanted to get him away from me personally.
I'm aware. I know.
It's just because he's going to bring up lots of. I want him to help us, but he's going to raise a lot of questions. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. We need to figure out who we're talking to about him first. So if we're getting Marines involved to get him a pardon for while this happens, then sure. But we need to figure out how he's.
Oh my God, I've got it. Look, I've been doing this shit for a long time, and I'll tell you the one thing corpos love is making it look like they're just completely clean, right? Ukov is the only person. What I mean to say is, what if we came to an arrangement with Kelly? Cooked up a story about his heroism in saving the, Jinx colony and whatever, we can bury what happened there and make it sound like Kelly, put him in a position where, someone will polish his ass or something for all the good that he did while he was over at the colony, in an exchange of making him look pretty, maybe getting a promotion or whatever the fuck they would do, considering the difficult circumstance. Instead of losing his job as manager for fucking up the way he did with Nakamura, we just say, all we ask in return for giving you a bit of credit is you forget about this fucker. Let him go way past the red line to try to go do some good and get this red off his ledger. We're all free of him. No questions asked. You don't have to wait in shit. We don't have to wait in shit. Maybe, right?
So we could forget to report his involuntary manslaughter if he forgets to report Ukov.
There you go. Oh, I like the phrasing of that, Isaac. That's positively wicked. Yeah. We'll put it like, we'll say that to him too. We'll say,
wicked
look,
in a good way.
It's your chief of security. I mean, you were the manager, you were the captain of the ship, and everything that happened on that planet's kind of your responsibility, unfair as it may seem. I'm sure Weyland-Yutani will be completely understanding about that, won't they? They will try to find
criminal
someone.
Negligence.
I think they'll probably try to pin it on someone, right? Anyway, I'm just saying.
I think there's the perfect individual for them to put it on, which is their head of security, Nakamura. But despite Nakamura's incompetence and failure protecting Jinx Colony, Kelly's fast thinking.
Yeah, that. And make it, if it wasn't for Manager Kelly, none of us would have gotten out of there alive.
I'll draft I'll draft a report.
Greasy bastard gets a promotion. Ukov gets to have a second chance. And nobody has to know to ask questions about what we found.
Yeah,
that's the reason to do all of this, really.
How many crimes have you covered up before, Connor? You're really good at this.
Oh, quite a few, but nothing like piracy. Mostly it was like realizing way too late into the job that we were shipping something illegal. Things like that. Sometimes you skip a couple of steps when you're taking on cargo, and then all of a sudden you realize you're fucked because your employer didn't tell you a thing or two. What you don't know can't hurt. Then you get stopped at a way station. Anyway, you get the idea. I've lied my way out of plenty of traffic tickets. I just know how these corporate bastards think. If you can try to make them look all squeaky and clean, they'll make a deal with you.
I mean, yeah, it really is a very elegant solution to this. And of course, Kelly wants to not only save himself,
but he's also going to lose his job.
Yeah, but also get something good out of this.
Let's see how he likes the deal.
Yeah, we've got about 25 minutes to pitch this to him and try to win him on it. I shouldn't be me. I'm not that good at this.
I don't mind it being part of the conversation. Doc, do you want to lead it?
I was going to ask, actually, can I write this report and
present it to Kelly?
Do a roll for how good it is to present it.
If you want to, I mean, as a doctor who is constantly writing up medical reports, you probably know how to use all of the right manipulative language to put a spin on things.
Check,
yeah. Kelly is going to be the next question is Connor looks at you, Tig, and says, I think you're the only one he trusts in the crew if you want to talk to Ukov and see if he's down for this. I mean, jumping as far away from the law and his old government as possible probably is going to appeal to him.
Yeah, I can chat with him. See if I can get any information about anything else before he goes. But
Gods,
if
what would any of you do without me? Seriously.
we wouldn't, we'd be dead in the water. Clearly, no one else can fly the damn ship.
That's
and
true.
Tig's gonna get up and put her like meal away.
I'm learning.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
All right. So Tig, you talk to our pirate friend, and I talk to our manager friend.
I'll see how it pans out.
All right.
All right.
So we'll start first. Go ahead and make me the roll, Doc. And
All right.
this is technically going to be a manipulation check.
Okay.
You're good at that, though.
So empathy
I've-
manipulation.
I've leveled that up, baby.
I'm not surprised.
We are at the end of the game, so you should take an ox point because we've got a whole pool of them that we can thank
It's
all
What?
true.
Wait, yeah, I'll take that.
All right. This one is from Kerrigan29.
Thank you, Kerrigan.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kerrigan29.
Kerrigan.
Help us lie.
As y'all are
All
pulling
right.
into Doc.
That'll be 3 successes with Kerrigan. Thank you.
Let's
Okay.
go.
As you hand the report over to Kelly, he says, "What is this?" And he looks at it and goes,
Proposition.
So
"Are you
I'm actually gonna
serious?"
hand him two. I'm gonna hand
Okay.
him what actually happened
Okay.
in this one. And I'm gonna go, you got a choice on what reality we choose to live in.
He reads it and then glances up at you and says, "Why does this fucking pirate mean so much to you?"
Because he doesn't mean anything to anybody else.
Doc, that's sweet, but he glances down at the report again and you see him consider it and he goes,
That's liable to get you a promotion. Nice cushy job. I don't know how many figures you're making. I stopped giving a shit about money after my first.
"I get credit for taking Nakamura down."
Nakamura had me on my back, gun to my head, and if it weren't for the admiral bravery and stalwart courage of Manager Kelly, I would be a dead man.
Looks like we have a deal. He passes it back to you.
All right. Thank you.
He says, "Thank you for, saving
And I'm
my
sorry.
life."
That's what I do.
Well,
What I don't do is what I did to you, and that's why I'm sorry.
if it makes you feel any better, Doctor, I was going to rat you out anyway.
I know you were. That's why you are the pinnacle of management that I wrote about.
Fine, we'll put this behind us. I think we've
Yes,
got a
we
deal.
Enjoy your time at Beacon, by the way. There's a wonderful noodle place.
Whatever gods you believe in, I hope they follow you to wherever you're about to go. I heard what y'all were saying in the galley. I'm going to pretend I forgot it. But people like you are the type that don't ever get seen again. So, whatever you're about to do, good luck.
I'm out here because a person like me is never seen again. That's the thing about people like me, though. We always come looking.
Cut to Tig. You're standing before Ukov, who
She
is...
does. I will say she waits to get confirmation that Kelly agrees. She
Okay.
didn't want to give Ukov false
Right. So
expectations.
cut to you standing next to Ukov in the hypersleep chamber. He's leaning against the lockers right now, and you can see he's tapping his thigh because he's resisting the urge to scratch at his knee where the bandage is currently wrapped around it. And he just says, "Very interesting. I have to admit, I'm a little humbled by how much trouble you're going through just to make sure that I don't
suffer the fate of paying for my actions. You seem to think that I'm going to be looking for some kind of, new life out on the frontier, and I don't mean to say that I won't, but you barely know me.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're gonna have you doing out there, but
who knows, but I would be stupid to say no to this. I'm just curious about you. And he points, he says, you and I were shooting at each other about 5 years ago, trying to kill each other on the front lines of a war neither one of us should have been fighting. And now you're sending me far, far out, saving my life because I had the stupidity of becoming a murderer after my time in the army. I would be stupid to say no to this, so I can't say no. But I can tell you this. This Delphini colony, there are sub-levels. We didn't go down below. The power had been cut off. We heard noises. The thing that I overheard attacking Martha, we saw things like that there. Dead, but we saw things like that there. I don't know what they were doing at this dolphin colony, but if you are dead set on going, just know you are wandering into the mouth of hell. Make no mistake.
won't be the first time I've been there. And to answer your question of why, you said it yourself, neither of us should have been fighting that war. And I only enlisted to protect one person, and she died. So in that hubris, I will save as many people as I can. No one else needs to die when I could have done something. And probably more embarrassingly, if it hadn't been for one or two elements in my life, I would have been you, and I would have wished that someone would do the same. So whether or not that's anything that means anything to you, that's why.
We don't have a choice when it comes to enlisting. And with the progressive peoples, we pay our dues by serving in the military. I had already done a tour, but I offered to come back if they did not send my little brother. And they agreed. And I went off to war. During the second year, I received notification that the colony where my family was from, where my brother was, had been wiped off the face of the planet. They said there were survivors, though, that some got away, but I've never been able to find a trace of him. People tend to disappear out here in the black, on the edge of space. Sometimes, though, it's nice not knowing I can pretend like he's still out here. He just hasn't called me yet, you know? Like, at any moment I might receive that call. He's just
It's expensive. The phone calls are, you gotta save up a long time for those.
He reaches out a hand and he says, "Thank you, Marie."
Don't ever call me that. And she takes his hand.
He nods and shakes your hand.
We got out. Let's fucking do something with it. Deal?
Deal.
She shakes his hand.
Both of your bulging muscles. You guys are the Predator team right now.
Yeah.
I
Much
know
more
where the green
melancholy,
comes
but
from
Yeah.
now.
yeah, we got a culture for Sam. And much more
Um,
melancholy than that, but yeah.
Who's still up on the flight deck? Is that you, Martha?
Yeah, I think I'm probably still there.
As y'all are pulling into docking, Connor looks like he's in bright spirits and goes, I can't believe that this actually ends on a good note. If things work out, let's just hope that they work out. And he stops for a moment, and you see there's something blinking on his console. And he goes, types on it, brings it up, and you see his expression shift, and he goes,
Hmm?
fuck.
What now?
Types in a few commands and transfers the display over to your console. And as you hear the words, welcome home, Ilios, from Villalobos once again, as you guys pull into the docking port next to Beacon Station, you see a flight recording log of transmissions sent from the Corvus-class vessel that was plotted to the sun. It logs a command override a week and a half before it reaches its destination and goes dark.
Is there any way to see Mother just did that? The
Make
command
me a
override?
contact. Make me a contact check.
Yep. I got you.
Please God us. We're very trouble if not got.
Oh yeah, no stress, huh?
Yeah.
One success. Do we have an Ox point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can
Is there an
I
Ox
mean,
point?
yes.
I'd like to make it 2 successes.
This is from Leo Ambermain.
Thank you.
So real quick, what is it you're trying to learn? You're trying to figure out?
Who did the command override?
Sure. One sec.
Oh my god. Should have known we can just remote control, send something into the sun, huh?
Okay, so you do a quick log. Remember how it starts to occur to you, Martha, as you're starting to read the command line logs. And you feel this sinking sensation in your gut as you're reading the command lines. In the midst of travel, keeping in mind this, remember how I mentioned that this ship was older? It's an older Corvus model, old Mother 6000 unit on board. As you're reading the command logs, you see about a week into travel, all of the sudden, Mother logs what appears to be something called Special Order 937 that was apparently logged into her code. It simply says, Priority 1, ensure safe return of organism for analysis, all other considerations, secondary crew expendable. And then the signal goes dark.
Dang it. Did not think to scrub for that.
Connor's face kind of tells you the same story. He leans across and he goes, I think it's good that we're not getting anybody asking us questions about what we're trying to do. It's all right. I'm going to talk to Isaac about periodically scrubbing our mother system to make sure that there's no hidden priorities inside.
Yep. Yeah. Good call.
You know what this means, though, don't you? It means it's only a matter of time till someone knows where we're going. We're on the clock now. We got to make it to Delphini before somebody else does. Because what they're going to find on that ship is going to tell them everything we know.
It also means that what's on that ship will be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on the horn.
I'm gonna have another drink.
Yep. Actually, and I will. He has a flask and a cup.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put a little more in the cup and take the cup with me.
The two of you, before you break, take a long, quick drink with beacon shining in the foreground, knowing that now you're on the clock and there's one last step to take, and you don't know who's going to be or who might be racing you all to get there. That is where we wrap this chapter of Beacon.
Oh, good. I was worried it would be chill.
I was wondering if I was basing it on how many contact check successes we were going to get. Y'all did as good as you possibly could have done given the circumstances.
Mother beefed it. Is what I'm getting here.
Mother, mom.
The Mother AI has even out of date Mother AI systems have an outrageous die pool when it comes to contact checks. They are damn good. Let's throw some XP at all of you. All right, you get one for being here. I'm going to say that yes, you risked or sacrificed something tonight to further a personal agenda, because you guys have decided to help Ukov, which absolutely comes at a risk to the crew.
Yeah, all of us.
Did you risk your life for a buddy or PC? Not this time around. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival? You guys don't use the rivals and buddy systems. However, Ukov did select a buddy and a rival.
Oh.
And he selected Tig as his buddy, and his rival is Kelly. So I would give Ukov an XP if Ukov was sticking around. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violent or non-violent means? That's borderline. Technically, no.
Yeah, panic roll. Did you skip that one?
You definitely get a panic. Yes, panic. You get XP for being awarded a panic check. That's coming up. Yeah. Did you make any significant discovery or revelation? Not really, no. You guys were basically processing information around. Did you perform
at the end? We did just now.
The last one is
Special
actually
order.
quite notable.
Special order.
That it's back.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. This might be the first time that I've awarded you for one of my cliffhangers, but yeah, I'll give it to you. I think that actually is the first time in like the 6.5 years we've gamed together where I've ever been like, here's my cliffhanger and here's an XP for me giving it to you.
Yeah, but Martha did have to roll for it, though.
That's true. That's true.
So-
She could have missed it, so that is true.
And it confirms an existing question we'd
Mhm.
had about the whole story, because people acting on their own aren't subject to special orders.
That's correct. So did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? I'm going to call that the role play tonight was exquisite. You guys were doing great on that. So, and you did earn money.
Yay!
Yes,
Payday.
get another XP for that. So that'll wrap us out. That's going to do it for us tonight here on Beacon, everybody. Thank you, as always, so much for joining us. We will see you next Monday night. Stay tuned for to our Coffee and Patreon supporters for some spoilers coming up, some surprises this month for our upcoming Star Trek Adventure 2nd Edition campaign. But until then, this is the crew of the Ilios signing off.